And we are we are live.
Nice.
Hey, what's up? Oh, okay.
Nothing much.
We have already like a lot of people in the chat. Hey, what's up?
Hey
Mana,
everyone.
Mana, Austin, time traveling wizard. Hey, what's up? Yang, Lee, you're in the chat, okay? Nice.
Oh yeah, that was last night when I was like,
Oh,
"Hey,
okay.
who's
That's
already chatting?"
okay. Artful Rasical 8. What's up? What's up, man? Okay, so I guess let's just dive into it. Who are
Yeah.
you? And what do you do?
My name is Lee. And of course I go by Lit Lee on my socials. I'm a 3D artist and I like to make 3D art. And I mean particularly like animations of any variety. Um yeah, that's who I am.
Nice. So you are super active on Instagram.
Yes.
What like led to the decision of like using Instagram as a main platform?
I guess just because like that's where I get the most interaction, and the most not love, I guess, but yeah, I guess just interaction. Like people like to respond more there, and the algorithm works in my favor there more than anything, more than the other social media sites, I guess. Because I did start out on TikTok, just
Oh,
because I felt like it was very effortless to post and like, no obligation to like keep up with it, and it's silly, like everything else there. So yeah, I started out on TikTok, and made an Instagram, maybe like half a year after I started 3D art, and then kind of just blew up there, and have primarily posted there ever since.
okay. Because like I have to say, like you can't. I can't scroll through my feed on Instagram
Mhm.
like without seeing content from you.
Yeah.
So I don't know what like you did to like end up in this position, but like it's impressive.
That's
Like
funny.
I guess like you're like the you. It seems like you are one of the main big player from our niche on Instagram. It's like
Yeah, now I guess, and that's funny because there were, I mean, like yourself included, so many that came before me, that I've learned from, and I've watched plenty of your tutorials and
oh
how
thank
to
you.
make stuff like this, and so yeah, it's just funny how I've got I guess the algorithms in my favor. It's just funny how that kind of worked out.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like for you guys in the chat, I would be like super interested for like how did you like find Lee, or like what was the first post like you saw? Because like for me it was the Dragon Ball animation you did with like,
Mm,
and it was like what the hell is going on? Like
yeah.
oh my god, it's amazing. It makes so much sense.
Yeah, that one. So I guess most of my animations, they're just kind of born from music that I hear. And I heard that song, the song that I use in that animation, and I was like, this is like so perfectly like Dragon Ball-esque, you know? And I've watched maybe like the first season of like the original Dragon Ball, with Kid Goku, and so I'm kind of a fake fan. I haven't watched that much Dragon Ball. I don't know like all the lore and all the characters. But I knew enough to like, make that, I guess, from, memory and just like looking at a couple references. Um, so yeah, and it's funny because that musical artist has like multiple albums, like named after like Dragon Ball characters and
Oh,
places and
okay.
stuff. And so they make that type of music, but the song that I use in the animation has nothing to do with those albums. Like it's just, their style. So, but I thought that one was, it just fit that animation more than anything else. But yeah.
Okay, that like leads to basically Motion Hawkage. Hey, what's up? I see you there in the chat. And
Hey.
Martin VA can't stick around for long, but Lee is the goat. Highly recommend. Okay, there you have
Thanks,
it.
Martin.
Yeah. Oh, Pixel Dominoes. Yeah. Hey, what's up? Glad you are here. Yeah. So I mean, that basically leads to the next question. It's like your inspirations, because like I see a lot of
Mm.
like I think you clearly owned one or like two Nintendo consoles or something like that, I
Oh
guess.
yeah. Obviously. Yeah, definitely all the Nintendo games I've played over the years. In terms of like 3D art in general, definitely the guy that's got me like into I saw his art and I was like, I've got it, like I can do this. Like, this stuff is cool. I've got some ideas of my own that I want to make. You probably have heard of him. He's another 3D artist in our niche, Nam Mac
Oh, okay.
or Lord Stingray, I think is his username
Yeah.
on Instagram. I came across his stuff, just from in on Twitter, my feed is mostly like game dev and game art and stuff like that. And so, just upon happenstance, Twitter was like, "Hey, you might like this guy's art." And I saw, one of his animations that he made, I think in like 2021, 2022. And I was like, "Oh man, that's cool. That's so great." Um, and I was like, kind of want to learn how to like make stuff like that. And I probably started doing something else or went to another app or something, and like refreshed Twitter. Like I couldn't find that post again. It was kind of lost. And I was going through my favorites and my likes, and I was like, oh, I guess I forgot to like it or favorite it or something. And so like, and I didn't remember his name, so it was just kind of like lost to me. I was searching up like, N64 or PS1 art, and I didn't see his stuff ever again. So but then like a year later, he came up again. I was like, oh my gosh, there he is. And I started going through all this stuff, and I asked him, I just DM'd him on Twitter, and I was like, hey, what do you use? And he told me, oh, I use Blender, and I do this and I do that. And I was like, cool, great, thank you for answering my questions. And a couple months later, I was like, I'm gonna learn, and I did.
So that's basically like your origin story.
Yeah, the origin story.
Oh, nice. And because like that was basically my next question, but like speaking like again about like influences and stuff,
Mhm.
why like I mean Nintendo clearly like anime, but I
Mhm.
mean what was your like first console, or like the aha moment, like the awakening of like your that's my style, you know?
Yeah, in terms of art style, I think that comes like way later than like the video games that I first played as a kid. But I would say like the first console that I remember having, I'm pretty sure my dad had an NES that he let us play, but the first console I remember having, like, and I remember like playing games from it, is the SNES.
Oh,
Um,
okay, really?
yeah,
And
yeah,
what
yeah, yeah.
game in particular?
Super Mario World and Street Fighter. I know we had those two.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
Street Fighter 2, of course. And I can't remember anything else that we played on SNES really. Clay Fighter, we played Clay. I remember playing that. Um, and yeah, I feel like that's the extent of what we had on the SNES. But then, definitely like the majority of, well, no, not the majority. I guess another big part of my childhood was definitely the N64. And I had Super Mario 64, of course, and Donkey Kong, Bomberman, you know, uh, a handful of the classics.
But I mean,
Um,
that's super interesting. So like
yeah.
you played like video games with your dad.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So your dad was into gaming?
Hmm.
Because
Absolutely,
like
absolutely.
I think it's super funny because like I had kind of the opposite like situation with my family,
Hmm.
because like it was like, oh, it's, it's devil's stuff, so why
Oh,
would you don't do that, like
yeah.
that turns you into a
It's
serial killer and stuff.
right. It's mind controlling, and it's
Yeah, exactly. And so it's funny that like your like dad, like it was like a
yeah,
bounding core memory from like you to your father. So interesting.
absolutely. Yeah, he's always been sort of like the kind of guy that wants to keep up with, technology and, get the latest thing. Like he's always got the latest iPhone and the latest TVs and whatnot. Um he's not much of like a gamer anymore.
Hmm.
I feel like when I was maybe in like the middle of grade school, is when, obviously he kind of just fell off and he didn't really get any like games for himself anymore, any consoles. He just maybe, kind of observed through me and was like, oh, that's cool. um I think at some point he was just like, yeah, I can't keep up with this anymore. But yeah,
Understandable.
definitely when I was a kid, he would, play with me. And um, you know, obviously as my parent, he was the one that had to get me the game. So you know, and it's funny that you say, your family was kind of like, oh, that's, all those games are the devil's work.
Yeah.
But I feel like my parents primarily kept me on Nintendo consoles because they didn't want me to. I mean, of course there were violent games on Nintendo consoles, but like they would, look up the games first before, they got them for me, and make sure it was kid friendly and for, age appropriate, I guess. Like I don't ever really remember playing any violent games, other than, I mean, unless you want to call Street Fighter 2, violent.
Yeah.
I remember watching my cousin playing Grand Theft Auto and just going, "Oh my gosh, you're just doing anything, aren't you?"
Yeah, exactly, because like I think like that's super important, like when you have like children or whatever,
Mm,
like just be interested, I guess, like just like your dad is like the perfect example what's the right thing to do, like
yeah.
be there, like have your own opinion, like check out the games, what's currently the hype, and like I guess like yeah, that's the best case scenario. And
Absolutely, yeah.
I guess like for me it's super that like the influence of like your father like led to more this Nintendo direction, because
Hmm.
for me it was like almost like this solar opposite. It was like that's cursed
Hmm.
evil stuff that's like messing with my
Yeah.
brain, and I was like super like in the early 2000s, like PlayStation had like the most edgy
Hmm.
commercials and stuff, and it was like
Because that was their whole stick, it
exactly
was,
being
they're,
edgy,
they're
and
trying to appeal to that age group and that,
exactly,
that
and
niche, I guess.
the whole like marketing was like based on your parents won't like this stuff, but it's cool, and they totally like got me with that. And yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, or like
But
that.
yeah, it's funny that we can think of games like that, but I would say like I've always attributed like my skills and my thought process and my problem solving, and just the way I'm able to like think and do and interact with like computers. I've always attributed that to like playing games at an early age. Because I played, those of us that have played Nintendo games, yes, they can be, very kiddie on the surface, but like the deeper you go, they can get kind of complex and they add more mechanics, and it's a lot of thought that goes into those games. Um, so I've always attributed, my skills today to when I used to play games, and how it made me think and how it made me, interact with those worlds.
Yeah, that's true. I I think like Nintendo really like mastered simplicity,
Hmm.
and I guess like the like yeah, easy to get into, but hard to master,
Hmm.
because like also the competitive scene behind certain like Nintendo games is like still alive for like, I don't know, 20-year-old games, and yeah,
Absolutely, yeah.
super impressive. Wait, let me just, the chat was a bit like uh, annoying in our stream. Wait.
Bro is so Animal Crossing.
Yeah. Wait, who? Oh, Austin. Austin, yeah. So, wait, let me check in the chat a bit. Motion Hawkage, yeah. Lord Stingray has some cool works. Oh, okay, yeah, you know him, nice. Austin, bro, is so Animal Crossing. Yeah, true. I mean, your last animation with your wife
Yeah.
is I think like that's also like a super unique thing about like your presence on like social media,
Yeah.
that like your partner is like a huge part of your presence, and like that's so cool. That's, I mean, really
Well,
like
yeah, she's a huge part of my life. So, I guess it kind of just naturally, I don't want to say bled over, but, but I remember, I forget what was the first. I know I made just a big intro animation for when I finally made her character, but I forget what the. I think I had this big idea to like make a series of her character. But like in a Gundam.
what?
And but I was like, oh, I haven't like actually made her model yet. I've got all these ideas. Let me actually like make her model. And she thought I was when I told her I was doing that, I guess I didn't specify exactly what I was going to do with the model. And so when she started seeing herself like show up in more animation, she was like, "Oh, so I'm like around to stay." Like I thought that was just a little, a little guest star, interaction. But no, I feel like it's because the same way I just kind of use myself in all my animations. It's a lot easier to like animate and to think of actions and to think of clothes and whatnot because it's just me. Like, what would I wear? What would I say? What would I do? And how would I be silly doing that? And the interactions and whatnot. The same way I know my wife and the things that she might say or the things that she might do. So it's just way easier to just use myself or my wife as characters instead of trying to think of complex characters or try to think of a complex backstory for or lore for my OCs or something like that. But I'll probably get into that one day where I make and go into depth on another character. But as of right now, as I'm just chilling and making silly animations, probably just going to use me and my wife for the foreseeable future. But yeah, a lot of people do say, oh, it's cool how like you use her, in your animations, and like you said, it kind of just adds another layer to it. I think that adds an edge that nobody else really has. Our niche, it's
Yeah,
oh,
true.
that's your loved one in there,
I think it's super like interesting because like so I mean we all, so also for you guys in the chat, I mean we are a niche, and I
Mhm.
think like our niche, sometimes I thought about like, oh no, like retro stuff is evolving because like in 10 years current retro is not retro anymore. It's, I don't know.
Mhm.
People will be nostalgic about the PS4 or something like that, or like the
Right,
Nintendo
right,
Switch
right.
in 10 years. But the thing is, against all odds, our niche is like growing like tremendously and fast and bigger and new creators. And
Mhm.
yeah, so I guess like, and I guess also the entrance level to it is like so, low and easy, and we have like room for jank. We can
Mhm.
embrace the trash and arrows, and like it's, yeah, we have the privilege of like working within like limitations, and it still like works. And
Yeah.
yeah, and I guess like within the niche, you are basically the first one who ever like became like meta to like this kind of level of like there is this small line between like you and your real life.
Yeah.
There's even this PS1 filter animation you did with like the, I think you ask your wife for a drink or
A soda.
a
Yeah.
soda, and the filter
Just
passed
chucks
by.
it at me.
And that's like, yeah. So it's meta on a new level, and like you're the first of your like kind to do so, and yeah, nice.
Yeah, I guess that's one thing. I feel like most people in our niche, they're uh I mean, like you yourself, you like to keep you like to make art, you like to make tutorials and videos and have an online presence. But, you like to keep that barrier between your personal life and, and your online presence, which is fair. Especially in this day and age where people are creepy and people are mean.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, why not? That's, 100% understandable. I've always just been like an open book.
Mhm.
Um, and I've always just liked to, and like I said, it's just way easier for me to like use myself, instead of trying to, think of anything else or keep that barrier up for, for how long, because, and especially as somebody, that knows how to, I guess, get information on anybody, or like I guess I have an understanding of like, how little privacy we have truly, like if we're on the grid at all, then I'm just like, what the heck, I'm not even gonna try. If somebody really wants to find out who I am, it wouldn't be that hard if they, if they really tried. So, might as well just put it all out there. Now, as for my, credit card number and social security number, that's I'm keeping that close to the hip. But, everything else, I'll put, my face online, and, sometimes I put pictures of me and my wife on my story and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, and I guess like that kind and that level of authenticity like really
Mhm.
makes you unique, and I yeah. So it's weird. I'm almost like jealous because like it's like sometimes I would like love to drop more more personal stuff, like I don't know
Mhm.
what I just like, what kind of cake I just made or something like that.
Mhm.
And it's like, oh no, it's not within the niche, so nobody would care.
Yeah. It's funny because I was talking to a coworker the other day, and we were talking about, getting food from this breakfast place nearby. And they know of my TikTok presence and my, Instagram presence, and they were like, "Oh man, you should, them just being silly. They were like, "Oh, you should, review the food on your TikTok or whatever and show people." And I
Yeah.
was like, "They don't want to see some fat guy just eating food. Like they're gonna ask for animations, you know?" Because I feel like, even though I have like a good amount of followers, like people know my character. They don't really know my personal,
Yeah.
my own face. So they might see my face and just go, "Who is this guy? And why am I following him?" So yeah, there are a lot of things where I'm like, yeah, I'll probably like just throw this on my story just so it's not like an actual post that's affecting, my stats and whatnot." So
Yeah, and I think it's also like weird for like, I guess like also for you guys in the chat, like I guess most of us, and for you guys in the chat, as far as I can tell, we are all like artists,
mhm.
and I guess like all those stats and numbers and likes and views and whatever, it's kind of hurtful sometimes because like,
Yeah,
especially when you have like something that did very like good, and then you try to recreate that success, and
yeah,
and then it becomes like part of your process and your art, because like you're chasing that kind of, you know the grind, the grind is
yeah,
real, so
yeah. And
um
it's funny because some things just latch, and like I feel like it's just a formula. Well, not, no, I guess the opposite of a formula is what I'm trying to say.
yeah.
Because, there's some things, that, like you said, it just that one thing we maybe didn't even think about it that hard. We just kind of made it and posted it, and it did so well. And we try to recreate that, and like we wonder why it doesn't, do as well. But I think at the same time, like in terms of like social media, I feel like things really do just have to be like at the right time, at the right place, with the right amount of people on, at that time with eyes on it, and um, it's just something that's hard to replicate. So I don't think it's part of any of our abilities at all. It's just kind of what can latch on, and and what's if it's the right time and the right place, I guess.
Yeah. Let us check into the chat very quickly. So maybe there's so Rallo, love both of you guys. Work okay, okay.
Thanks.
Thanks, man. And Rollo, is Lee ever gonna make a game with his characters? Oh, that's a good question.
That's a good question. Yeah. So whenever I think of making a game, and I want to start one soon, but I need to think on it like a lot harder because I don't just want to go into it blindly and oh, everybody's asking me to make a game. I should probably just make one. I want it to be good, so I'm going to think on it a lot. But in terms of like my characters, like I just talked a good bit about like using my own characters and thinking that's it's a lot easier to do because it's me and my wife. But in terms of like a game, I don't think so. Probably because being black and like growing up and playing games, like I did kind of want to see like a black character in a game and like play as that, and oh, I'm like that's me. I can identify a bit more with it, but I don't want to. I don't want to do that for my games, I guess. I kind of want to have like a, one size fits all type, type of character where, maybe it's like an animal, or, just keep it simple and have a character creator, So probably not my character specifically, but, probably something along the lines of, making your own character, or having a character that you can speak through and it's kind of universal.
Yeah, I know what you mean, because like it could be also the case that you would like by getting more specific, you could like also, yeah, I guess generalizing a character is always like a good idea, I guess.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah,
with
because
stylization and stuff. So yeah.
exactly, because there have been games that have been very popular, and they try to hone in on their own heritage and their own childhood and
Yeah.
whatnot, or how they grew up and whatnot. They're that's been done and it's been very successful. But I don't think I want to do that where I'm just trying to look through the lens of myself or the lens of a black character or something like that. I kind of want it to be kind of universal. So yeah, probably wouldn't use my own characters.
Yeah, I guess like also we can like circle back to, for example, Dragon Ball, because like I think a lot
Mm,
of people can relate to like Goku and like not fitting in, coming from somewhere else and whatever,
yeah,
and like going through this journey of like becoming more powerful and fighting fights, and it's also like it was a nice idea to make him as a character alien, and so
yeah,
out of place, because like a lot of people can relate to this. I'm not fitting in. I'm not like yeah,
exactly,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm being a misfit, I guess. and 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 I guess like because like you see with currently with like the with what was the with Mexico and stuff, with the whole
Hmm.
like celebration of like the Dragon Ball creator. What was his name?
Akira Toriyama.
Exactly, and it was like I didn't even I heard from it through the news that like there was this huge celebration and stuff, and so like there's
Hmm.
this huge audience like worldwide, whatever,
Yeah,
that can relate to these stories and those characters, and yeah. But I guess like um you can always like make a new game and a new project, so and
exactly, yeah.
yeah, and I mean, just like speaking of representation, I mean, guess like you as a character yourself, as an artist yourself, are
Hmm.
already like changing something, because like because you're so authentic with all your stuff and your creations. So there's already like a lot of potential. I guess like
Yeah,
not it's not just potential. You're already like doing it.
yeah.
um, you're in the middle of it. So yeah. Okay. Mana Shield. Damn Lee is doing exactly what I want to do, except his avatar looks way cooler.
Thank you.
Dude, you get there, so don't worry about it. Just yeah. Oh, Shay. Shay, hey, what's up?
Hey Shay.
Shout out to Shay. I don't think she needs it, but check out her YouTube channel. She's
Yeah, her
doing,
stuff's really cool.
yeah, great animations. Kappa, hey, what's up? Okay, wait, let me.
How old is Lee? Sounds like an older dude, and that kind of gives me hope. Somebody guessed or somebody said it right. Yeah, I'm 26.
Yeah, man, dude. I think like the age thing is it's super interesting because like I think nowadays you can really like feel nostalgic for something that's before your time.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because like I see on especially like on TikTok or something like that.
Mhm.
There are so many like also with fashion, for example, like kids nowadays can relate to like 90s fashion. And,
Yeah.
and it's totally like weird because like you haven't been born. Like yeah. Anyway,
That is a
uh,
comment I get sometimes. People are like, or maybe people that have been born in the last, 10, 15 years, they might see my stuff and they're like, oh my gosh, this is so, like, it makes me feel nostalgic for something I never really lived through. I was like, that's interesting.
yeah, and I guess like all the nostalgia stuff is I guess like
It's universal.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
timeless.
Exactly. And I guess like also with analog horror projects and stuff like that,
Mm,
it all like utilizes this feeling of nostalgia from like a different like I guess like sometimes you see fragments of different time periods in your life, like in movies
yeah.
or photographs or something like that, and then you like feel that kind of feeling. Okay, I
I'm
really want.
laughing at Shay saying she's nostalgic for the prehistoric era.
Yo, dinosaur kids in the chat. Let's go. Having a prehistoric like focusing on dinosaurs and shit is like yeah, that's the best like childhood you can have, to be honest. Like
Oh, yeah.
sorry. So I'm trying to keep up with the chat. Sunbursts. I hear from a reliable source that you might be live. Yes, I
Oh,
guess.
they probably saw one of our stories or something.
Yeah. And wait. Okay, Mana Shield says Lee, we need to link up in all caps. We are on the same wave. You have some
N64 mech vibes.
yeah. You got some fans in the chat. Ba, 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 ba. Someone wants your credit card number.
Okay. I'll drop that at the end of the stream, I guess.
Exactly. Stay until the end of the stream and you
Stay
get
tuned.
exactly.
I didn't even mean to make that like, oh yeah, stick around and keep watching. I just, but yeah, now you have to if you want the credit card number, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So stick in the chat and wait until the end, man. Okay. Rello. Rello. What does he do for work? Is it 3D animation, 3D related? And so, is your real life job related to 3D animation or 3D?
No, it is not at all, and it always surprises people when I say what I do. I work in banking software
Okay.
by day, and so I work from home. And I'll probably get up around 7:30, 8 a.m. and log on to my work laptop and do whatever needs to be done. And I probably stop working maybe around 4 or 5 in the evening. Um, and yeah, I work for a banking software company that like sells software to banks that allows them to like upload their checks and images and statements and documents and whatnot. And I kind of support that and help banks out with that and make sure they're all good. And yeah, it's nothing at all like like my hobby. So yeah, and I guess that's kind of always what I wanted to, how I wanted my life to go. Because like I didn't really grow up an artsy kid. I didn't. Shay, so in short, Lee has all our bank account info. I guess if you're a customer, I potentially do, yeah.
Okay, that's
But yeah,
so it's canon basically that you're not scared of sharing your bank account, your bank data, because you already have our bank data. No.
sure. So stay to the end of the string for that as well. Um,
Oh man.
so yeah, but yeah, like I never really grew up an artsy kid, and like even in college, I never really wanted to like go into anything art related. Like that just wasn't on my mind at the time. Because like I went to college for computer programming, and I just went to a community college, which was only like 2 years. It was super cheap. Like I don't have student loans now, and that was always the plan. And I was gonna like do 2 years at first, and then maybe transfer those credits and my knowledge to maybe like a university or something, and then keep going. But I found this job just with an associate's degree, and I was like, what's the use? Like maybe later down the line, if I ever win the lottery, I can go back to college and not have to worry about payments. But as of right now, I'm kind of chilling. But yeah, and I've always thought of like going to school for like a job to make money,
Mhm.
and then like anything on the side, whatever happens, happens. And it kind of just it worked out perfectly.
Yeah, I think like I guess like for also like for you guys in the chat, like working as a creative person and like
Hmm.
doing this full time, because like I tried last year to do like all
Hmm.
the commission stuff and like also like social media full time. And I was close of like
Hmm.
reaching my needs and stuff, but I guess like to be honest now with my side job, so I mean I still like do like this stuff here, but
Hmm.
I work on the side in a museum. And the thing is, I think the cool thing about my job is like, it's not like putting any weight on my shoulder. It's just like this, I do a task my whole day. I can pay my stuff, and basically
Exactly. Yeah.
all the art related stuff and everything I gain like financially from this kind of situation is just like the plus. And I guess like
Exactly.
taking pressure out of the equation in our case makes it more enjoyable. And
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, and also like you mentioned with the degree and like student loans, like that puts so much like pressure on you, your family, and like your like you know years to come. And
Yeah.
I guess when you're then like paid for this degree and have the student debt and so on, you really need to like be successful, or else you're like basically
Yeah.
you're done. And I guess
Go
like
under. Yeah.
yeah, and I guess like taking pressure off your shoulder in like what shape whatsoever is like super important for like art, because like art is like whatever you do, it doesn't matter. It's like it's therapy.
Right.
It's like meditation, I guess. And when you
And
like
it kind of defeats the purpose when you're stressed out doing it.
exactly, and like I mean, Shay, for example, is she's still in the chat, I think so, and
Mhm.
because like I told her I'm super jealous of her like YouTube channel with her
Mhm.
animations, because like she did so well. All her animations are like banger after
Top
banger.
notch. Yeah.
Exactly. And I'm sitting like in front of my screen and like explaining like very basic stuff in my opinion, but yeah, but I guess like that's the thing. It's like I love what I do, and I do it,
Yeah.
and that's fine, and that's cool.
Exactly. Exactly.
And I guess like financially and social media and whatsoever always tries to put numbers on things, and like creates this stories of like breaking through, going viral, and
Right.
whatever.
Right.
And I think like I guess like you basically have been in a viral like sphere with your like shorts,
Mhm.
and but I guess it's not that important because like especially with shorts, for example, they're on a daily demand. So like
Yeah,
you're viral, and the other day you are basically forgotten. So like do what you love, man, and like keep on
exactly.
doing it and keep like try to keep it enjoyable, I guess. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I guess most of my, because somebody was, I think earlier said so you kind of just have to get lucky. And yeah, I think so. And at the same time, like last year I had a lot of free time, like in between, like working from home, like it was kind of busy, or not as busy as this year. And I just had a lot of free time to just make whatever. So like there were weeks last year where I would post like two or three like full environment, fully animated animations. And that was just because I had the time to, and I had the ideas, and I had the motivation. And so I wasn't really trying to like, oh yeah, this is gonna get me 1,000 followers if I do this. That was just like purely like I wanted to make this. I wanted to get it out of my head. Like, and it'd probably be fun, and I would really like to see the result when I'm done making it. And I think that's just it just kind of took off whatever I posted. And if somebody were to kind of compare what I've made this year between what I've made last year, you'll see like an obvious like I'm leaning towards like the shorter, content, maybe, just to like catch your eye, in that first, maybe the first couple seconds. Mainly because I don't have as much time this year. Because, I feel like when my whole social media career, quote unquote, kind of took off was last September.
Mm-hmm.
And so kind of like ever since then, I've kind of had like off and on commissions. But from the beginning of this year, it's kind of when it, took off even more. And so, on the side, ever since January, on the side, I've always had like a commission, that I'm doing. So, and on top of like work, being a lot busier this year for some reason, there's just a lot of things to do, in that regard. So I don't have as much time like during the day, maybe, to work on stuff. So, what I do make, I just kind of keep to maybe something that I can make in a day or two. And so yeah, I've got like so many ideas that I want to get through, but just not enough time in the world to actually get through them. But yeah, in terms of like social media stuff, like um, yeah, I feel like it is just a matter of like getting lucky. But I do feel like a lot of people like my stuff just because like it doesn't seem like it's like clickbaity or attention grabby. It's just kind of like straight off the dome. Like it's I just make it just because I wanted to make it, just because I had the idea. So where these ideas come from, I have no idea. I guess I'm just a daydreamer, but but yeah.
Yeah, man. I guess like because like oh hey Kilobyte, what's up? I see you.
Hey,
I see you, man. And yeah, so I guess like that basically solves Rollo's like question because like he asked did he study how the algorithm of social media works. He just posted whatever he wanted without
yeah,
paying attention to that. And dude, guys, I have to tell you something. Um, it doesn't matter if you make movies, like music or whatever. Like, just do what you love and
absolutely,
just
yeah,
just do it. And like, I guess like you should act like the big breakthrough isn't real. just
yeah,
like
absolutely.
just like do your thing, throw it out there into the void of like the internet, and like yeah, so maybe you get found, maybe you break through, maybe you become the next, I don't know, Mr. Beast of 3D modeling. It's
But
like
yeah, it's got to be from a place of like I could, this is I love doing this
yeah.
and I love seeing this. I love talking about it with people, and I love people appreciating it, and that's it. Like if you're, if you're trying to do it just for like the views and just to break through, that could work. Like it could, it could work for a
Yeah.
while. It might burn you out. It might, not actually happen. So, you know,
Yeah, and I guess like also for us currently, it's like we are like a niche in
mhm,
the we are currently like at the root of our like growth, I guess.
mhm,
So our niche, we don't have like very specific keywords online for the algorithms of the social media platforms. We have like
mhm,
those vague hashtags, vague keywords, and so I guess like we are currently on a breaking point. I guess like the most important thing currently within our like lo-fi 3D niche is to
mhm.
just do it. It just have
Absolutely,
fun
yeah.
and connect with other people, leave a nice comment, and I don't know, because like I follow a lot of like people on Instagram, for example, or like YouTube
Mhm,
channels with 10 subscribers, 12 followers or whatever, but I
mhm.
enjoy their art and I want to
Yeah.
see more of them, more art, more stuff,
Yeah,
because
there's
like
so many people that I like met when I first started this, and they don't make as much art as they used to, or something along the line. And
yeah,
people have life stuff going on, obviously,
yeah, true,
or they just don't have as much time or whatever. But yeah, I everybody that I follow, like I love seeing their art, and I love, I kind of wish they had as much free time as me to make stuff and to just churn stuff out so I could see more of their stuff. But
yeah. And I guess like you really can like the enjoyment you get out of like doing 3D art, for example,
Mhm,
is really like something worth when you don't have any other worries for like, I don't know,
mhm.
financially or like, and I guess like it's purer. It makes more fun to make stuff if you don't have
Yeah,
to worry about like other stuff. Of course,
absolutely.
as always, you enjoy everything a bit more when you don't have any other worries going on.
Exactly.
But yeah, I
Because
guess like yeah,
I was gonna say, especially now, like I probably could live off of like doing this full time and doing commissions. But number one, like you said, that would kind of like burn you out. It would be because you would have to do this because you have to live and you have to eat, not just for fun anymore. But also, whenever somebody asks me, like especially my coworkers, because they're like, "Oh man, you're big now. Like you could quit at any moment. You can go work for this company or that company." And I'm like, but I have healthcare with this company, so I'd rather not.
oh yeah,
It's every time I get to like healthcare or like 401k or something like that, I'm like, yeah, I better stay here and just
yeah,
chill out, and unless some other company is willing to do that for me. But yeah, definitely, doing this I feel like doing this full time or doing this just to kind of get big, it would burn you out for sure.
yeah, and yeah, I guess like uh it like totally depends. I guess like when you're still like trying to make it as a, I mean, to use it as a career and stuff,
Hmm.
you still need to keep that in mind. Like do, I
Yeah.
don't know, every second artwork for yourself, I guess, because like when you like do it on a daily basis, you really like can grow sick of it. And
Hmm.
yeah, and I guess like with all the, yeah, as always, it's like a thing of pressure and yeah,
Yeah,
but
for sure, for sure.
because like you just mentioned that you could technically like live off it and so on. Did you like got any opportunities, brand collabs, or like any? Did someone slid into your DMs lately?
Oh yeah. Um I've done a couple. I did a little spot for Huion. They make like drawing tablets.
Oh, I
I
my second monitor is from Huion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, I did one for them. They sent me one of their tablets and wanted me to review. And yeah, it took me a while because I was like working on other commissions at the time they sent it to me. So that was kind of like busy to get that done and made. But I used their tablet for like a specific animation, and I kind of reviewed it and made a little video on it. So that was nice. And that was just the representative from Huion. She reached out to me through email. I guess she found it on my website or something, and it was just like, hey, we want to send you one, and we want you to review it, and then you can keep it. And that was really cool. And then I also got hit up by, well, it was through kind of like a social media creator, I guess, liaison company that talks between companies and, social media creators. But I did an ad for Starry. It's like a little soda. It's fairly new. It was kind of like replacing like a brand of soda that just recently got phased out. But they were wanting like social media creators to like make a video about it, talking about it or drinking it or making recipes with it or something like that. And so they hit me up, and I was like, I don't really do any of that, but I could make an animation. And they were like, yeah, sure, why not? And so I did that. That was pretty cool. Um,
Oh man.
in terms of like other notable stuff, there's one I don't think I can quite talk about yet.
Oh sure. I mean, you don't have to.
Yeah, but that'll be hopefully soon when everybody can see that, and um, maybe they'll see it on that company's social media account or on TV or something. So
What?
so
On
that'll
TV?
be, yeah, maybe, who knows.
Oh man.
But I think I'm pretty sure in my actual contract, I'm not allowed to like talk about it or
Sure.
talk about working with them yet. So yeah, I don't want to name names or anything like that. But
Oh man.
soon, TM.
Oh man.
um,
Damn.
so yeah, I
That's cool.
guess I guess that'll be like the first. I'll be the first low poly artist that's maybe on TV. We'll see.
Dude.
But
Oh man.
I'm trying to think of others. Yeah, off the top of my head, that's all I can think of at the moment. Which is kind of sad. Hopefully, there's not another big one that I did that I'm just absolutely forgetting. But yeah, those are notable ones that I've done and completed for sure.
Yeah.
A couple of music artists here and there, and other people, but
Rollo in the chat just said, "We're not gonna snitch." Are
oh
you sure
man, yeah.
about that, man? At
I
least one
honestly
of you
don't.
guys is a snitch.
I honestly don't know like if anybody from that company's like actually
Yeah.
following me on social media or keeping up, but I'm not even gonna
Yeah. Yeah.
not even gonna chance it. So
Yeah. Play it safe, man. Play it safe.
absolutely.
Oh man, I would love to maybe get an opportunity like that. I would love to get like sponsored by, I don't know, gold or something like that, or money. It's,
Yeah.
or I don't know, something to eat would be nice. Like sometimes I really I'm like, oh man, like having like a lifetime sponsorship partnership between like you as a creator and, I don't know, HelloFresh or something like that. That would
Yeah.
be so great because like
That'd be crazy.
I have to eat, so
Me and my wife were just talking about last night. We were like, what if I did like a one of those animations where it's almost like I've got, the camera in my hand, but I'm like making food or something like that, like doing a little cooking animation, but that might be an idea down the line.
oh nice. Shay, technically an artist did visuals for Eurovision that the low poly. Yeah, true.
That's right, that's right.
The guy from the Netherlands. I think he got like suspended or something like that.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, but yeah, I know. I guess like for all the the people that are currently in the stream are like super confused because like in Europe, like the Eurovision Song Contest is a thing, and and so just for the guys who don't know, like the representee, the artist from, I think it was the Netherlands. I'm not sure.
Mhm.
I think it was the Netherlands. He used PS1 style background visuals for his stage performance. Yeah,
Yeah, I was seeing. I know Shay made an animation about it, and I've seen a couple things on her story.
yeah,
Um, but that's as far as as much as I know about that artist.
yeah, man. But I mean, hey, yo, you see, I guess like we find all those like little incidences of like our community breaking through and getting bigger.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
and I guess like one of the most like mainstream stuff, in my opinion, is like those PS1 remakes, because like even the game developers or the studios behind it repost sometimes those remakes, and I guess
Mhm.
like that really like like brought a lot of like, how is it called, like growth to our community, and I get like I
Yeah.
think like more attention. Yeah, but I see
Oh,
a ton of like potential in the future. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. I forgot. Now it's almost disrespectful that it was like, oh, I might be the first on TV. I forgot about. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Hulopi.
Yeah, true.
He did Gwimbly or
Yeah,
Quimbly, I forget what his name is,
exactly.
on on that Adult Swim show. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
pretty sure that was his work.
yeah. Yep.
So almost disrespectful to say I might be the first. He's
Yeah.
already done it and done it well.
Yeah, I
Like
guess
that was
I think he's also one of like the biggest creators in our niche. I guess like he's like, you know,
absolutely, especially here on YouTube. Yeah.
yeah, on YouTube. Yeah. Man, like Adult Swim like hook me up. No. Uh yeah, I mean, yeah, it doesn't matter. So in the yeah, it was a huge crossover, and Mana, God, I love Adult Swim. Yeah, Rallo. Well-being the second is big too. Yeah, true. Yeah, yeah. I think like also like for you guys, like please just do your thing, create your own style, and like
Absolutely,
keep on
absolutely.
doing your stuff, and yeah, and I guess maybe in
Because
10 years I'm boxing against Mike Tyson. I don't know. So we will see.
live.
Yeah, I
But yeah, I
can.
was about to say like even though some of us or like most of us are kind of like popular, like I'm technically only popular on Instagram. Like there's a lot of other artists that are like killing it on YouTube or on TikTok. Like I kind of fell off on TikTok now because I couldn't keep up with, like posting a couple times a week. So
Yeah,
um but yeah, definitely. You might be, pretty popular on one social media platform. So
yeah. I think
just
like
make your
for
stuff.
for me, I guess like when you figure out like one platform that like works for you,
Mhm.
just like stick with it, because like I
Yeah.
like the convenience of YouTube, because like for
Mhm.
example this live stream leads to views, likes, subscriber. So like
Mhm.
that's why I like the echo, like what's the call, like the the ecosystem of like Yuku what, how do you pronounce it, what the fuck?
Ecosystem.
Ecosystem, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
You're
um
fine.
the ecosystem of like YouTube, because like you have everything like in here, and I grew up like with YouTube as like a big platform for me personally, and
Mhm.
like I never figured out Instagram or like TikTok. And to be honest, I'm a bit scared of TikTok. When I like open up TikTok,
Yeah, it's rough.
I get like blasted with like, I don't know, way too young girls dancing, and like
Absolutely, yeah.
I,
You've gotta. I feel like after using it a lot, I've kind of dialed it in. So like pretty much all I get now, it's not even like art stuff. It's not even like video game stuff. It's mostly just like comedy.
yeah,
And they know what I like and they know what they still know I'm a man. So every now and then they'll throw in a thirst trap or something, but most of it is like comedy and funny stuff or
I
like educational stuff, like how something's made or something like that.
I don't I really don't get it. I get only like clown girl content for some reason. Like clown girl first traps. And
Oh no!
I don't get it because like I never like typed in something like that. It's only like clown girls. I
Hey, they're taking a wild guess, and they're like, if he bites, he bites.
yeah
I think that's the kind of the whole shtick of TikTok. It's
yeah
they're
who
just trying to
needs
guess what you like.
yeah who needs a goth girlfriend when you can have like a clown girlfriend? Just a silly little I don't know. Oh man. Uh Mana, A, put him in the grave stocks. Yeah, man. I could take on like Mike Tyson if he like is 90 or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. She got a question. Do you think it's important to hook into a style quickly? Like sometimes feel like I'm not defining my own style well enough because I'm still learning a lot, but I don't want to force it. So, what do you think?
Um,
It's like hooking into a
I
style and leaning into the style, focusing on a specific.
I think like the like for my style, for example, like I didn't really reach this until maybe like I want to say a good like 6 or 7 months into like making art. Um, but I don't think it's like super important to like hook into it and like hone into like the style that you're gonna make for the rest of your life, maybe. But I think you gotta get like maybe in the general like area. So like for example, I knew I wanted to do low poly from the beginning. Like I didn't even try to do anything else. Nor did I know how to do anything else. I've never really tried traditional art or anything like that. But I mean, even like growing up, I always knew like I loved low poly art, and I knew it was kind of easy or not easy to do, but simple to do, I guess, especially with the computer that I had at the time and the amount of time that I had at the time. With style, I also mean like format and stuff. Oh, I guess like the amount of time that you spend on animations, and I guess the if you want to do like short form stuff or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess so. Okay, Shay followed up with the question with style.
Yeah,
With style, I also mean format, so format and stuff. Yeah,
I guess I guess it kind of just depends on like how much time you have to
yeah,
do certain things and how much how much time you want to spend on it and how in depth you want to go. Um, but I mean, Shay, for you, for example, like if I saw one of your animations on TV, I'd be like, yeah, that's Shay stuff. Like you definitely have a distinguishable style. Like whenever I see your stuff, I can tell that it's yours. I don't know, just because that might just of course that's because your name's right above it, where I can see it. But I feel like if somebody hid the name, I would definitely be able to tell whose art is whose, especially at this point, being in the community for a while.
yeah. And I mean, my in my opinion, I guess like you just mentioned, I think time is a factor because like for my channel, when I put like 2 weeks into a tutorial, for example,
Mhm.
and then I get like because like it's a very specific, I don't know, for example, how to do I don't know PS1 style water in Unreal Engine or something like that.
Mhm.
It's super specific. It's like totally niche within the niche. So I
Mhm.
know there are people out there that need that information, but I also know like the video like won't do like well at all. It will like gain I
Yeah.
don't know 600 views or something like that, and that's it. And for example, when you like put in a lot of time, you also like want to get out at least something. And
Exactly. Yeah.
like you said, like doing something for 2 days or like 1 day projects, and then
Mhm.
then it fails, for example, it's fine because like it's just
Yeah.
like 1 day, and
Exactly.
you can keep on like doing it. And I guess like making a whole as like game or like whole movie that takes like a lot of time, and when it fails, you really like take it personal because like you invested so much
Absolutely,
time.
yeah.
And I guess like
Absolutely.
that's at least like for me, like format wise, I guess like for content genre form or whatever, I I need to like, you know, throw it out quickly. So, and I want to have fun. When I see, okay, I'm investing way too much time and it's becoming like a bit too personal, I'm
Hmm.
careful about that, man.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
I hope this answer, I don't know, helped Shay. I don't know. It's, I guess like,
we're just we're
yeah.
just rambling. We're just talking.
Yeah, but yo, I think it's super. It's okay to evolve, to do different
Absolutely,
stuff,
yeah.
to try different things, and I guess like at least
And
for like YouTube, I can tell you guys, just make a second YouTube channel and do,
absolutely,
yeah,
yeah.
and call it a day.
Because I was gonna say, like I have seen a couple artists that do try to they and it's fine for like knowledge, but if you kind of want to make a name for yourself or kind of get people hooked on your art, I feel like it would be just so much simpler and so much easier just to like kind of nestle into one kind of art style. Because I have seen a couple of counts that like make beautiful stuff. And you know they try a lot of different art styles, but that's the thing, like it is different. So like somebody might follow you for that one post that you made, and then they see another one of your posts and like, who is this person? I've never even, you know, I have no idea who this person is. Why am I following them? They might unfollow you right then and there, but I mean, a lot of times if I see that, I'll like go to their page and I'm like, who is this again? And I'm like, oh, this is, you know, that one person. They made that one thing, but like, you know, all of their other stuff is like so much different because they're trying to, I guess, like, you know, get hooked into all these different types of art styles and learn about a bunch of different things. So that's nice for sure for learning. But if you want people to look kind of like, you know, hook in and hone in on that one art style, then you kind of want to keep it in the same, you know,
Yeah,
general arena, I guess.
and I think I really love to like mention that, like, especially like speaking of style or like developing a style,
Hmm.
like your limitations and your interests and combined lead to your style. So for example,
Absolutely.
you have a shitty laptop and that's all you have, so I guess you won't like do photorealistic renderings on that one.
Right.
But I mean,
Like
you,
most of us here, I'm sure.
yeah, exactly. So like limitations create creative decisions and lead to, or for example, like I struggle with 3D modeling feet, for example. I hate it. I hate it. Like 3D modeling feet, 3D modeling shoes.
Hands, shoes,
Oh
yeah.
no! I'm actually like super solid with hands, so
You like hands?
I love
Okay.
hands, but I hate feet. And
If
so
I could raise mine now, you could see that they're little nubs still,
yeah,
but
same. Mine are just like a cube and that's it. So yeah.
mhm.
Yeah, but I guess like that also like leads to style, leads to like, yeah. And I guess like just be like shitty, be limited, don't be perfect, and this will create your style. You only, for example, when you only have like one kind of color in your like palette, for example,
Mhm.
I don't know, blue or something like that, then you can only like create paintings with the color blue,
Yeah.
and like that could lead to a like perfect style. And I guess
Yeah.
like at some point your limitations, you get so strong within your limitations that your strength will overcome your flaws.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. And
There's this artist on Instagram. I think she's primarily on Instagram. I know she's on Threads too. She's a pixel artist though.
yeah.
Her name is Arts of Win. That's Win. And she primarily uses like this nice orange color, and kind of like tan, kind of beige, I guess. But that's like her primary, um, like color palette, I guess. And she makes like really nice stuff. And it's usually like I guess like caricatures of herself doing different things, and it's very cute. And she's been posting a lot of like commissions that she's been doing lately, where of course she uses like other colors and more dynamic palettes, but her primary stuff is like it's simple colors, but it always looks really nice.
Yeah, for example, like I mentioned multiple times before that, for example, for just speaking about like my style, I use
Hmm.
photo references, and because I get super like frustrated with painting, and
Hmm.
it never because I used to paint a lot, but I got
Hmm.
back in art school, I got so much terrible like feedback that I skipped
Mm.
on it. And yeah, and so I use photo references, I use photos as textures, I do photo bashing, and
Oh, nice.
that lead to my style. So being frustrated with painting and not being good at painting, I guess,
Hmm.
led to this photo bashing style, this very like Max Payne kind of aesthetic, I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah, but currently, for example, I'm trying to like figure still, because like I have a I don't know, a minimalistic set of skills within like painting,
Hmm.
and I'm trying to, for example, like for anime, I want to have like a second style,
Hmm.
with anime, like in this Mega Man Legends directions, for example, and a
Yeah.
very like Nintendo DS, Nintendo esque style.
Hmm.
And so the texture painting part really scares me, especially because like Razak from my previous interviews is super like straight with his feedback. He's super
Hmm.
harsh, I guess, because he's French. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, and yeah, shout out to Razak. And yeah, so but I figured out for my anime style, because like I had no
Hmm.
clue how to 3D model anime style low poly characters,
Hmm.
and because like I was also very inspired by you, for example, and I wanted something minimalistic. I wanted to lean in the stylized proportions, like body proportions direction, and so on. And I found myself currently I'm studying, and I bought books on how to draw anime
Hmm.
and how to draw chibi kawaii characters. And I'm using
Hmm.
the material for learning how to draw anime for, and I'm converting it into 3D low poly modeling. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So I use those references, those like lectures and so on, and using it for, and it leads to such an interesting result.
Yeah.
I have to show
Because
you
it's
guys
your
at some
own.
point. Exactly, exactly.
It's not one to one. It's kind of like your own inspiration on that style and whatnot. Because like you mentioned Mega Man Legends, like my torso, I can't hold up my arms and like show my, but like my whole body is in my my head shape is like
Yeah.
I downloaded the Mega Man Legends models from modelsresource.com and
Oh
brought them in the
yeah.
blender and was just like, how can I make it look like that? And I just kind of moved, vertices around until it kind of looked like, kind of what I wanted in, Mega Man Legends esque. And, I feel like that's the best way to go about it. Just find something you like and look at it hard enough and then, make something like it.
Yes. Amen. Amen. Um, Elite Jam. I'm
Damn.
leaning towards the DS style in my work eventually. Yeah, because like I figured out that like it's almost like a bit weird to me that like currently on social media and animations and in 3D space, a lot of people are currently like feeling nostalgic for the DS era and the
Absolutely.
the DS like aesthetic. And so like the our community and our niche is like,
Hmm.
evolving, I guess. Because now it's not like just N64, it's slowly
Yeah.
becoming DS style characters and contents, and so
Exactly. Whenever people ask like what art style is this, which sounds like a silly question,
oh
because
man.
of course we all know where we got our inspiration from, But like, when you really think about it, like if for somebody who's never really made art before, or they see this and their neurons are firing and they really like it and they want to look up more, like what do you search? Whenever somebody asks, I just say low poly pixel, um, just to kind of get like a all encompassing, term for it. But like really, yeah, it's N64, it's DS, it's PS1, it's sometimes PS2. Um, you know,
Yeah,
w-
I guess like our community really like has we have some issues with like the keywords because like
yeah,
when I want like AI art, I type in AI art and that's it. But
right.
we have like we can't like put a name on it because like it's so fluently because like we have
Mhm.
so many influences, so many layers and so many levels. And I guess like low poly is like the most basic term for it, but
Yeah,
it's so much more than just low poly. It's yeah,
absolutely.
it's yeah, but I guess like
Because it could be high poly just with a filter on it, it's
exactly
or
we are
just the different textures.
exactly we all have at least like 10 million like polygons on our characters, and I really love your like because like I think you made a short about a guy was
Mhm.
asking about the wireframe of your character,
Mhm.
and you showed like the most like high
I
poly.
just, I think I just subdivided maybe like 20 times and
Oh man, what a legend. Okay.
Also, secret, like nobody ever asked to see my wireframe, so
Oh,
I
okay.
just, I was just trying to just making a silly video.
Get it. Let's just studies for the for us. Okay. Twizzlers. I must have studied VG resources for hours and hours. Truly the best place to learn. Uh,
Absolutely.
yeah, true. And I guess like I can also like recommend just playing old games or watch let's plays of
Yeah.
old games, and
Yeah.
that could also like inspire you and stuff. And mana. Oh god, I have so many difficulties with pronouncing names and such. True. There's later generations getting nostalgic for different eras. They are mixing up. Yeah, we are all like
Hmm.
we're becoming like hummus of genres and stuff. Just like a big stew. Put it all in a pot and like just like stew. Um, no, poly is so vague, though it comes up with the worst stylist stuff. Yeah. Kappa Yoshi, texture resolution also play a big part. Yeah, true. Because like
Yeah.
I mean, you could like make low poly characters, but like slap on a 4K texture,
Right.
and like yeah, it will look definitely like different.
And even
Um,
just like for me, like switching the texture filtering,
yeah,
like between like nearest neighbor and like, bilinear or something like that could switch up kind of the era that it looks like it's from.
yeah. And I guess like because basically I know sometimes I feel like I viewed I I devoured the theming of the PS1 era enough in my opinion,
Mm,
and I guess like a few people from my like subscribers, maybe you guys in the chat, uh, a lot of people ask for like when are you starting on doing PS2 style tutorials,
yeah.
and I'm like, okay, that's such a like difficult like question because like the basically I mean in Fury there was like the PS2 was already like limitless, and the
Mm,
PS2 and N64 is like defining itself with the limitations, and like I guess like the only thing with the PS2 was like rendering limitations and like preferred game styles. I guess like you can only like lean into like a game genre in itself with the PS2 era. But yeah, it's
mm,
difficult. It's difficult putting a name on it, and yeah. But you know what? I want to see how you work in Blender and how what's your workflow. And can we just like take a quick look behind the curtain? It would
Sure,
be
sure. So, I know you said, oh yeah, get a couple scenes, maybe like ready to talk about or whatever. I forgot to do that, so maybe, I don't know if there's, uh, one that we want to
just
like,
something.
yeah, take a look at in particular. Like I've got all my, every animation I've ever made, I've got all the files for it.
Mm,
So, I don't know, maybe if we want to like take a request from the chat or if you want to see one personally yourself, just see how that scene looks and we can
that's a
walk
good
through it.
point. So people in the chat, do you have any like favorites of like Lee's animations? We could like sneak into the Blender file and take a look at it.
Just poke around.
Yeah. So just let us know. Type in the chat what kind of project do you want to see. And okay. Twizzlers, that Animal Crossing one you did recently. Yeah, that's a good point. Same.
Okay, yeah, let me go pull that up.
Yeah.
And I'll switch my little display here.
Um
I named the scene Show and Tell.
okay.
Um, Here we go. Okay. So yeah, these are our little Animal Crossing S characters. And the same way I made the one that I'm using for my VTuber here, it's the same exact way I did these. So I got the Animal Crossing characters from the DS version,
Oh
and I
man.
just brought them in Blender, and I looked at them real hard, and I was like, oh yeah, I can. Because first I just threw my head on the body, and I was like, that doesn't look right. I feel like I've got to get like kind of like the rounder head, and and the same type of ears, and I just put my hair on there, and got the same, maybe made a little some meshes to put my face textures on, um, and same thing for the shirt. I feel like these are very
Yeah.
Animal Crossing as shirts.
Um
Um,
I think like that's a very like Nintendo-esque
mhm.
thing, like putting like faces on separated like planes.
Yeah, it's a
And
lot easier that way. Yeah,
yeah, true, true. I really like can
and
recommend it when you're like heading into like anime style stuff, like low poly stuff, because you don't have to worry about like messing up the texture when you like can
exactly.
focus solely on like the face. And yeah.
And it only kind of sucks when you have to like maybe do different like eye directions, because yeah, I can make like a bunch of different textures for all these different eyes and whatnot.
Yeah.
But like if I need to like move the pupils around to like look at something specifically, that's where it gets tough. But
Yeah, true.
it's not very often when I have to do that. So
Yeah.
that's why I really haven't made an eye rig yet, because it's not really super super important, or
It's not
like I actually
necessary. It's
right, right, right.
totally not necessary. But man, it looks so clean. You know,
Thank you.
it's cute, it's clean, and you really like get that Nintendo vibe going on.
Yeah,
Man,
I played enough games to get
yeah.
it.
Oh man, you guys are so cute together. It's by the way,
But yeah,
does your wife play games or?
it's funny because I feel like I make her seem like a gamer girl in my animations. She is not,
Yeah.
in the slightest.
Okay.
She has played Animal Crossing, the latest one.
Yeah.
I mean, but I mean, who didn't? It was kind of a craze at the time. COVID was big and rampant, and everybody was kind of at home and had nothing else to do. And so she played that a good bit, and I'm pretty sure she really enjoyed her time in Animal Crossing there. Um,
But I
hasn't
mean,
really played anything since, at least a whole lot that I've seen her play.
yeah.
But she has played a game, yes.
But I mean, by definition, she's basically a gamer girl.
Yeah.
We have to give her props for that. So, but I mean, she really like it feels like she's like a gamer girl. So I mean, just
Yeah.
like you said, that was my assumption that like you guys like feel like a nerdy couple.
Yeah. I mean, now she is, she's not nerdy about games. I guess she's nerdy about other things. She reads a lot of books and she likes a lot of movies and whatnot. And we like similar things there, but
Okay.
I guess not about games.
But I mean, still, that's like nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mana just like said in the chat, relationship goals. Yeah, true. And like yeah, sharing interest and like yeah, that's man, that's so cute. Wait, let me check into the chat very quickly.
Let's see.
Um. Blah, 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 blah. Shay, the pupil issue stays the same with the textures being on the model itself to the right. Though right.
Though, right.
Uh,
On the model itself. Yeah, I guess technically. I think she's saying like, if you like let's see here. I guess if you were to like if the face meshes weren't separate, it still kind of would be an issue. But I mean, technically I have the face textures like move with the head, so like wherever the head's gonna go, the textures will, and those meshes will. Um,
yeah. And Mana, you ask because you're a Blender noob, and being a noob is totally like fine. Yeah, basically the facial expressions are just texture swapping. Could you maybe
right.
show us the
Sure.
UVs? And yeah,
Sure.
basically, yeah, please go ahead.
So yeah, let me so this is, the geometry, that these textures are on. I guess let me hide everything else. So this is the geometry, that the textures are on. You can see it's kind of like transparent and it's only got the pixels on there. So if I pull up the UVs, go to the UV editor, um, you'll kind of see, well, let me just take this and hide everything else. So we'll see, it's just kind of like, a bunch of triangles. So that's, the right side. And if I select this other side, that's the other side. And it's kind of just looking at an image and it's showing on the meshes where those pixels should be. It's blank down here because I have it set to image sequence, which I can talk about in a second. But if I set it to image, single image, it'll show up again. So you can kind of see here where, what the texture looks like and where that geometry is on that texture. And so if you see, if I move it around down here, it'll move it up there. And so, just keeping it simple, you're kind of just putting a 2D image on 3D, geometry. So, and that's kind of what it looks like. And getting like transparency to come through is a whole separate thing. It's literally just like plugging different nodes in and setting the right settings. But to talk about like how we get like the different faces and the different image sequences. So Blender, if you set it to image sequence on your like face texture, Blender will just automatically look for the name of your image, but like an incremented number. So like my very first face texture is just called face one. And so if I, wanted to go to like another face texture and, offset the, or change the number of this offset here, Blender would just look for a file named face two. And so if I pull that folder up, if I go to my characters and Lee and face, so face one is just like, neutral eyes and smile. And so if I go to, I have the mouth and face separated, but let's say if I put them both on 0, then it would show, that neutral face there. And,
I guess like both our VTuber avatars are also like a good example because like I use mesh based, blend shape based like expressions. So for my avatar right now, I'm basically my vertices and my mesh is like moving around. So my eyes are like moving and so on. And for like for Lee, for his avatar, it's texture based. So
exactly.
his geometry doesn't change. It's just like the texture swapping. And the funny thing is for like the PS1 era, N64 era, they, because like performance wise it was like way easier to just use a different texture for like a different expression,
Mhm.
and so on. But I mean, for cutscenes, for example, or for like, um, I don't know if it was like possible with limited geometry to use blend shapes, they did it. But
Exactly, yeah.
yeah, so but I mean, it was very popular, especially for the N64, and I guess like the best example for texture based expressions is Mega Man Legends 2.
Mhm.
It was like the most advanced texture based expressions ever. And I guess like all other like follow up game projects like Animal Crossing, the Nintendo Mii characters, they all
Mhm.
used the same technique as like, yeah, you did. And yeah, so like there are so many benefits to it. But yeah, for example, like for me as a downside, I'm not like super strong with painting. I'm just like, I'm still
Mhm.
learning. So I could never like pull off something like beautiful like you do with your expressions. And even though it's like
It-
minimalistic, but you like, you sell it with the way you paint it, and also with the eyeshadow, like the little shadow area on top of the eyes, it really like sells it well. So like I have to
well, it's
use
funny
mesh
that you
based stuff.
mentioned the Mega Man Legends textures again, because I mean, I just kind of looked at those faces and was like, how can I translate that to, maybe a smaller format, or to my, format. So if you were to look at my face textures in Mega Man Legends, you'll find a lot of similarities. 'Cause, once again, I just had them side by side, and I was like, how can I kind of make this my own?
Yeah. Oh man.
So
And
yeah, but that's kind of kind of a high level of how textures work, but or how my textures work at least.
I guess like
But I guess
for you guys, when you are trying this for the first time, I would
mhm,
like recommend to just like make a blinking character, for example.
sure,
I guess like that would be the perfect first try. Just have like the default facial features, facial expression, and then just make the eyes blink. Paint
mhm,
eyes closed, eyes open, like texture, and I guess like that's the perfect like start to get into this kind of style.
absolutely.
Yeah, and
And feel free to that's not a crazy thing to look up on YouTube. Like there's plenty of tutorials that talk about texture swapping and Blender and facial textures and
yeah,
2D stuff, and again like what Luke is doing, with the kind of like the blend shapes and the actual meshes moving around. So feel free not to scrub through this live, if you want to come back to it. Like there's plenty of videos that talk about
yeah,
that subject.
and
But I guess like other stuff in the scene, like you saw when I kind of like hit everything else. Like there's still a skybox around. This what we're in now is just a cube, just kind of to like eliminate outside lighting, but to still get like the ambient stuff. Uh, and we've got the sun in here. There's the camera right there, and all the fruit icons. To get them like turning individually, it was way easier just to like separate them. So these are just a bunch of planes that I like rotated separately. I did not like before it was just like our characters dancing, and then I was like, oh, I kind of want something else other than like the colors changing in the background. I was like, oh, I can get the little fruit sprites from the Animal Crossing games, and but like as soon as I
wait. You really like that? That's straight up from Animal Crossing.
yes, so okay, we can
Okay,
we can
nice.
walk through this now. So let's bring over my my browser here, and we can go to Spiders Resource. And look, it's already recent. So here we are on SpridersResource.com,
Oh, that's so smart.
and I can come down to items and download the sprite sheet for like all the items, and then open up a sprite, drag and drop that in, and like just select that out, and that's make that a separate image, and then in my actual Blender files, in textures, like it's just one like image with all the fruits on it. And when I'm switching between all the fruits in throughout the animation, I'm just like animating the UV value. I feel like I'm blowing somebody's mind right now, like I'm going kind of fast, but just in the mapping node, I'm just kind of switching between all the fruits, if that makes sense. Um, so yeah, just one texture from this sprite sheet, and all this stuff is on the internet somewhere. And if not, there are tutorials on how to rip stuff from DS games. I had to do that a couple times, but
Yeah,
but
I
yeah,
did I did it too. Like you mentioned, like I shout out to like Sprite's resources and so on. Like,
absolutely.
and because like I use like their models also for like doing research and learning,
Hmm.
and I don't know, refining my own style, for example.
Hmm.
And I mean, like, wait, where is it? For example, the Mega Man Legends textures are like super like insightful for like learning and figuring out like characters
Hmm.
with expressions and how Nintendo like worked on that game. And so yeah, there's so much, like, just download it and try to figure it out, work with it,
Absolutely.
take it as inspiration. Yeah. And wait. Okay. Let me go back into what's
Oh,
up
there's
again.
a lot more chat messages
Yeah,
now
yeah.
than
Oh
when
my
we
god.
first started.
So how about let's, oh my god. Austin War Goated Tech. Yeah, yes it is. Chronos TL. I'm working on a model where I need to animate expressions in Unity. This is so dope. Yeah, dude, go ahead. Like, check out the like resources on the website, and yeah, and I guess the texture based stuff is super like lightweight. You don't have to deal with blend shapes. You just pan
Yeah.
around between textures or switch whole materials or whatever. It's super simplistic. Austin was like, "Hey, future me, I will watch this VOD later when I have time." Sure, Austin, take your time. I mean, I guess it's Saturday, so yeah. Mana, okay, Lee, do you recommend a sprite for N64 style in Unreal Engine 5
Workflow, trying to
workflow
figure
tool?
out the best workflow. Um,
I guess
I
like,
guess whatever, because I mean, Sprite is just my go-to for like simple things like this, where I'm just needing to like grab, different textures or, just like quickly edit something. Um, I would recommend it just for pixel art in general. For general, pixel art needs. I wouldn't say it's better over other programs for like game development or for, like you're saying, for your workflow. It's kind of just whatever you like. I feel like it's like lightweight enough and like easy enough to use to where, like I like using it on a daily basis. So, yeah, it's my pixel art program of choice.
yeah, and like, I mean, to be honest, guys, there are so many resources for a sprite and tutorials to get like into pixel art or like
Sure,
texture-based
sure.
painting. And I guess like when you have like this solid foundation of like educational like resources, like just go ahead. I mean, how much is it? I think it's
Uh,
$10, $20.
I think it's $20. Yeah,
That's a good investment, to be honest.
absolutely.
Yeah, I know like money is a thing, and for every person it's different.
Yeah, 20.
But I mean, $20. It's when you are really into like retro stuff. It's a good investment, and yeah. So you can do nothing wrong
Absolutely.
with getting into a sprite or taking maybe a week to like learn pixel art basics and such. So
Right, right.
shout out to a sprite, I guess. They should sponsor us, man. I'm shouting them way too much out, I think, but I mean it's fine. They're doing a good job.
Yes, they're
So,
well loved.
yeah, but in the end, I mean, you can't do anything wrong with any, like, even if you like
No,
paint pixel art on your phone.
exactly. Yeah.
I hear from a lot of people that are like doing pixel art on like on the go, on the, I don't
Hmm.
know, on the iPhone or whatever, and like that's cool too. I mean, if it
Hmm.
works for you, and if it works and looks good, it works. So
Yeah.
that's it, man. So Mana, I use Photoshop normally, but it almost feels too robust and takes a lot of setup to. Yeah, and the thing is, like for Photoshop, it's actually super performance demanding, and also
Yeah.
like I honestly don't support like Photoshop for like our needs. It's a bit overkill, and also
Hmm.
when you, I don't know. So let's be real for a second. Are you really paying for Photoshop, or are you having access to it via your like university or something like that? Because like I couldn't like buy the Adobe Cloud in private back then,
No.
and that's like what stopped me using the Adobe stuff, because it was like way too, like the subscription stuff and so on. It's way too expensive in my opinion.
Oh, they have access to it through websites.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. I mean, yeah. If you have access to it, it's. I think it's a bit overkill. But I mean, yeah. So, wait, where was the last? Okay, Rello. So, do you use any plugin to keep the pixel density consistent in your textures? Oh,
I
that's a
do not.
good
Um,
question.
it would probably help to use add-ons or try to keep pixel density consistent. I feel like that's the thing I'm the worst at. And not that like I don't want to get better at it or something like that, but I kind of just don't care enough about keeping consistent pixel density to like actually hone in on it. I kind of just do what fits and what looks good. Um, so yeah, no add-ons really. I guess if I could like pivot to another animation, just to kind of show you not how it's like important, but kind of like in hindsight, I was like, maybe I should have dialed in the pixel density on. I did an animation where I kind of like remade, or not remade, but was very inspired by the intro for Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks.
Oh man,
And
dude. Nice.
let me close out this other one.
It looks pretty,
Um,
pretty good.
and like I was watching this the other day because I saw it like on my screensaver. I have my animations as my screensaver, like different videos. And I just saw how different like the pixel density of the grass is between like anything else. And I was like, yeah, I probably could have dialed that in a bit more, but I mean, at the same time, like I'm sure a whole lot of people weren't like looking at that. But so like if I wanted to, let's see, let's go to the UV editor and just maybe like bump it up just a little. Like I feel like that would, that would probably keep me from looking at it any harder if I just maybe bumped up the density a little. But yeah, that was just kind of example because I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, oh man, maybe I should start looking at pixel density more. um,
But I mean, you know, it totally like depends. I guess like
yeah,
in your case, it didn't hurt at all. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah,
So it's not that big of a thing, and yeah, it totally depends. But I know pixel density is like a issue because like it's the I think like old Nintendo games really got away with it because like they used unfiltered textures and
mhm.
unfiltered pixelation. And dude, oh man, just your viewport. It's like it's an artwork in itself, man. Dude, yeah, Mana. This guy is a madman. What the fuck? Yeah, true. Dude, yeah.
Oh yeah, I was talking in the Polypixel Plaza yesterday. I think we were talking about like environments and stuff.
Yeah.
I've always said like it's so fun to like just make big environments because it kind of makes everything kind of easy, everything else kind of easy.
Yeah.
Because I mean, once you just start like just going into it, like it's and just scaling stuff up, beyond imagination. Like, you start making these big scenes, and obviously, like everything's not connected. The density's different out here. Some things are off in the distance. It kind of all depends on what the camera sees.
Yeah.
And what the camera sees, it's fine. Like it's that looks like a full scene, right there. You can't really see all the breaking and all the so like you don't have to connect everything. You don't have to make it just so consistent beyond reason. You just kind of have to give them a show.
Oh man. Austin has a very has a question just for you. Question for
Okay.
Lee. Did you ever play Bolt on DS?
You
Eh,
will remember titles. You get your inspiration. I didn't play Bolt. I remember seeing that movie. I think it's about the little dog. Let me look that up. Yeah, the
from the
little superhero dog.
Disney game?
Yeah, I think that was Disney at least. But yeah, I remember that movie. I remember liking the movie, but I never played the game. Titles on the DS. I get my inspiration. Definitely this one. Spirit Tracks, Legends of the Spirit Tracks. I love this game. Um, Obviously Animal Crossing because that's kind of where I made that the last animation I was going through. That's heavily based off of that one. Um, there's plenty of oh, I use a lot of Mario and Luigi Partners in Time sound effects sometimes because I really like those. I played that game for a long time. I was a very dumb kid, so I feel like that took me a long time to complete. So I just naturally I played that a lot longer than other games, but
But I mean, being a dumb kid in gaming, you get more your money's worth, to be honest.
right, exactly.
So, yeah, man.
I have no idea why these random trees are over here. Maybe I put them off to the side and forgot about them. But you probably don't even see them in the camera. Yeah, that's funny. I
Dude,
don't know why they're there. These look like snow trees too.
it's
That's funny.
mad, mad, man. Rollo, my only issue with pixel density is the ground looking huge in my own projects.
Mm,
Yeah, I guess like you can like still cover up the ground with like trees and such.
yeah,
So like maybe because like how many like people look at the ground the whole time? It's more like what's in the
exactly.
distance. Yeah.
Exactly. Like what I was about to say, as long as people know there's a ground, I feel like you're fine. Like they can tell like it's the ground, or if your ground is lava, they can tell it's lava. I feel like the specifics of like if it looks nice or the density, because I mean obviously like if I hit the ground, like it's gonna look like I'm flying through the sky, but like there's train tracks here. But like I feel like if you have a ground and you want it to look like ground, just like get it ground like enough. And people are gonna like nobody, like I said, I was worrying about the density of the grass. I'm sure not maybe like one and a half people, were, were looking at the density. It was like, oh my gosh, he needs to fine tune that.
I
I honestly don't think anybody's looking that hard.
Yeah, I think it's super funny because like I have a list of like tutorials I still like have on my to do and stuff, and like
Hmm.
environments are like a huge issue for most people,
Yeah.
and I
And it makes sense because it's like you've got to worry about like spacing and like scale.
exactly I get it. Also, like we as humans, we focus on like persons and characters so much that
Yeah.
like the environment is like sometimes secondary, and sometimes
Yeah.
we are not like aware of like how is a room built and how does a room look like, what's important of like what's a point of interest. And I'm still like working on a good tutorial for like that kind of thing. But yeah, I see the issue like popping up everywhere, but because like it's super deep, there are so many layers to it.
Yeah.
You can make like super simplistic environments, I don't know, like the back rooms or something like that, and they could like
Yeah,
be total banger. But I mean, on the other hand, you can like also overdo it and do too much, because like
absolutely.
I think there are, for example, I don't know, Assassin's Creed games, for example, they are sometimes a bit like overwhelming, like when you're in a city area. But on the other hand, they are also feel empty. So I don't know. There are so many layers to it. By the way, I made wait, I made, for example, a new background for this
Hmm.
little interview. So let me like show it very quickly to you guys. And
Oh yeah,
because
I think those were like assets from a game jam you're doing, or
yeah, on the Discord exactly. And
yeah,
I
I saw a
just
little bit about that.
exactly, and like making, for example, like just making modular like environment pieces is also like
Yeah.
a art in itself. So yeah, and
And
I
is that all from one like sprite sheet or texture sheet I saw?
yeah, exactly. And so I went outside
Which is
and
insane.
took pictures from my street. So
Hot dog. Yeah.
like street lamps and such. And I think like using trim sheets, so one texture for like all the assets is like super helpful. Wait, where is it? So here, for example, those are like all the elements I took like pictures of from a street, like street lamps, like
Hmm.
reliefs, and like detailed things on I don't know, in the buildings, and then I arranged it to look a bit more decent. Wait, where's the? I need to really work on my like how I manage my stuff because like I'm so oh my god, where did I put it? Okay, it's here. So this is the texture, and then I like used it and reused parts for like those environment pieces. So like even that, so modular environment pieces, like point of
Yeah.
interest, color variation. The thing is, for example, you don't want your environment to be too vibrant because like
Yeah.
that could like also take like
Attention away from like what you're trying to focus on. And,
exactly. And I
yeah.
think like the opposite is like also nice because like for you, for your scene, for example,
Hmm.
um it's like you want just the viewer or like the people that is like just like found your animation, you want them to, you know, you want to blast everything you got in their face. And that's good too, you know, it's perfect because like you want to like rewatch it to like figure out what did I just saw and all the
Yeah.
details. And yeah, so I mean, you need to find the balance. It depends on the genre you're working in,
Exactly.
what kind of style of game. I'm more about like minimalistic horror and like you know, where do I put my lights and stuff.
Yeah.
And for example, for you, I see a lot of like dynamic like perspectives, dynamic
Hmm.
objects, and you
Yeah, I kind of want to work on a lot and then also like show off a lot and make sure like the camera angles kind of because if we look over here on the left, um, getting that like the tower that's broken,
yeah,
full in angle and me there waving at the camera and
super cinematic,
driving by
man,
the castle. Yeah.
dude. And the things like
um,
I noticed, for example, about myself that I really had to sometimes rewatch your shorts multiple times
mhm.
just to figure out like what kind of elements are all like just consumed, because
Yeah.
like, and that's kind of cool because like it makes so much sense in this fast pace to have like
Mhm.
this stimulating imagery, and it's like it's a trip, man. It's
Yeah. Now, I do want to address. I see a couple people complimenting like the textures and the models and stuff. A lot of this stuff is just like straight ripped. So like this model of the train and whatnot, like it's straight from Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks. So are the trees, like the models and the texture back here. The castle is as well. These aren't the tower itself, the tower pieces. this is actually, I couldn't find a model of this on the internet anywhere, but there was this Team Fortress 2 mod that somebody made, and somehow this was like in, you know, some Team Fortress mod. And I was like, oh man, like if I could skip making this myself just so I could like cut down like this animation by like, however many hours it would take me to make this myself and like make the textures. I would love to just like rip it from that mod if I could, if there's any way to do that. And so I had to like, figure that out. I had to like do like command line stuff to like download from the Steam workshop, and like then find some tools on GitHub to like unpack the
Dude,
models and the textures from that mod, and I was able to get it and work it out.
dude.
And then I also wanted I was like I couldn't replicate like the void, that this is like the void power that that antagonist had in the Spirit Tracks game. So this is ripped straight from the game as well. That this swirly texture, and it's just like spinning around above the tower at all times. And I'm pretty sure I used like the same texture on the swirly stuff here. I just kind of stretched it out. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah,
you
a lot of this stuff is like straight from the game and or straight from assets online, and I just kind of put it all together and made it move.
yeah. Usually, how long do you work on like one animation?
So for like the bigger stuff like this one, I can't remember how long it took. It was less than a week though. I think it was like maybe 4 or 5 days.
Oh, nice.
Putting it all together, and I mean, but I kind of like I think I mentioned earlier, like I like doing everything all at once and like working kind of fast and just going at it until it's like done. It's exactly what it looks like in my head, because I feel like anybody else, they'd be like, oh man, it took me forever. But I mean, if you want to see it done and you want to work hard doing it, like you can do it.
Yeah.
Anybody can do this kind of stuff. I'm just crazy, and I have a lot of free time, and I like working till it's done. So that's probably what led to it being done in less than a week. But and a lot of this stuff, like especially all the if it's not just like a flat plane, like the grass here, all these mountains, I didn't like. Technically, I handmade, but like it was with an add-on that just kind of uses noise textures to like simulate mountains and stuff, and you can scale it pretty easy to like get the based on like the Z normal. I think it's like applying a texture. So like if it's more like up and down, it'll apply that the ground texture, and if it's more flat, it'll apply the grass and stuff, and same for like the opposite. So yeah, tools like that make it simple to like make landscapes and whatnot. So,
Yeah.
and of course I just use like different texture for like making the snow ones and making the lava areas. This looks really crappy, but like pixelized. I was like, I'm okay with that. That looks fine. So yeah,
I mean, it's in the distance, so
exactly,
it
exactly,
it totally like does its like job. So yeah.
exactly.
Austin, Dumb Kids Unite. Yeah. Yeah, I used to take my time completing games for real. Yeah, true. I think I also like I had maybe for Christmas I got like one game and then played through the game for years. So
Absolutely, yeah.
yeah. Mana, it's perfect because just enough detail. Yeah, just enough detail. And sorry for like rushing through the
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Austin, your art style is so close to childhood games and delivering their magic feeling. Yeah, I think like you really nail a very like nostalgic childhood like aesthetic. I don't know. It's very like
I guess I mean I played a lot of those games,
yeah,
so it
true. I guess
you know
that's totally like leans into it. And
absolutely.
Mana, could you give me a hyper simplified explanation of how to translate high quality 4K images to low poly, mosaic, blur, color palette?
Um,
Uh,
I guess
ooh,
Well, I'm not really using like high quality textures. Like I feel like everything here is probably not higher than um no, I know for sure not higher than like 512 by 512. Um,
Yeah, same.
but I'm not using any like super high textures. I'm pretty sure for the grass. So if you go to I don't want to like plug kids. These aren't even my own textures, but I know the simplest way to get to it is on my Instagram. I have like 5 links on my Instagram profile, and one of those should be for the texture garden, where I found this guy like a year ago that like had a bunch of like textures uploaded on Google Drive, and it's just like a bunch of textures, like they're all organized by like type of texture. Um, and he had to like take it down for some reason. Unfortunately, I think he said I remember reaching out to him. He was like, "Oh, I accidentally had the mode set to like edit, so like people were messing up textures or like adding in their own stuff. It was weird." But fortunately, like I had downloaded the entire like drive before he took it down because I just like to have it locally, just so I could like search it, in Windows Explorer myself. And so I asked him if I was like able to like upload it myself, and he was like, "Yeah, just give credit where credit's due." So like that link on my Instagram profile, it'll lead like straight to my own Google Drive with all those images. And so I'm pretty sure, like if we go search through those images, I just tried searching for grass probably. I probably got one of these. This probably looks more like this is probably the exact one that I got. Let's see. That looks kind of pretty similar. So I get a texture like this, which is already pretty low quality. Like so let's see the dimensions. Okay, yeah, so this is 512 by 512. And so for like pixelizing images, I'll just take this image and bring it over to Image to Pixel. This is a program you can get off of itch.io. I'm pretty sure it's only for Windows, unfortunately. So if you're on anything else, good luck. But you can run images through this program and it'll pixelize it pretty well. So if I just open it up here and load that image, and this is, on the input side, it'll show you how it looks like normally. Then on the output side, it'll kind of show you what you're dialing in all these settings. And so you can change up the dithering. You can change up, the hue and the saturation and whatnot. So it's a really nice program for like pixelizing any image that you throw in it. So that's pretty much my workflow for like making pixelated images if I need to. I'll just kind of get a high res or low res image and just run it through this. Image to pixel.
I mean,
Perfect. Yes. Okay, good.
yeah, I mean, for example, but you sometimes super. I mean, sometimes you get actually super far with just like taking straight up an image and just like changing the resolution.
Yeah.
I mean, seamless textures are like a different topic, but to be honest, like straight up, just like use your image editing software or app or whatever, and just like change the resolution to like
Yeah.
a very like low state, like I don't know, 256 or something like that, and you end
Mhm.
up with sometimes something very like satisfying. For my
Like for oh, go
situation,
ahead.
I for example like I just take pictures, and
Yeah.
I,
And that works too. Yeah. You
so
see how well that works with that scene he was showing.
let me just like super quickly show you like
Sure,
for
sure.
example I have here just a folder with like I took pictures of like trees here for example.
Let's see.
So just with
I'm
the
waiting for it
phone,
to come up on. Oh, there we go.
yeah, just like a tree, and for example here just like took
Yeah.
a picture of grass, just that, and I don't know, and then you can like
Yeah, that's a solid bark texture right there.
yeah,
Easy.
and yeah, wait, I should be on images, tiles and textures, ground, no, tree, yeah, and then I end up with stuff like this. And this is 128, for example. And it's seamless. It's seamless, yeah, but that's a different story.
Ooh, yeah.
And so like this tree and like this texture.
And these are real photos that you took.
Yeah, this is just like in the park. I was just like looking at different trees and just like took pictures. And here, for example, there was like a broken tree, and I took this picture to get like the inside of a tree. And yeah, and I think that one it's just from Google. Like I googled tree stump. What is it called?
Stump.
So yeah, exactly. And I just like ripped it from Google, and I think I bashed 2 pictures together, so I could like work around like copyright issues. But I think I have also like here ground textures. Those are all like images. And this one, there was like this construction area, like on the other side of the road, and they laid on those wooden plank thingies, and I just like took a picture of that, and that's since back then that's my go-to like wood texture from the construction site. And yeah, what
nice
else?
wooden floors or wooden walls or whatever.
Those are my favorites. That's like just like also in the park, like the area with the tree. Wait, I should have it on photo nature. So here, for example, so here this sandy area here next to the tree. I took a picture of the floor of the ground. And then I made this like dusty, dry ground texture. I called it forest dry ground, and yeah. So I mean, like, I think that's also an option.
Yeah, it can go. All these can go a long way.
Exactly, and you can't do something wrong, yo. I mean, just like when it looks good, it looks good, and that's the cool thing about even, like our stuff.
And even if it doesn't look good, like we can tell what it is, you know, just our minds. Like we know if it's on the ground, like it's probably, you know, it could be grass, it could be rocky, it could be, you know, metal. As long as it gets close enough and you're trying to get, you know, you're trying to, you know, hone in on something specific. Like we can tell what it is. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be hyper realistic. It doesn't have to be dialed in. Just close enough. And like, you're the one who can tell you when to stop and when to you know, when to say when it's enough, you know. So I feel like get used to setting your own limits and whatnot.
Mana, it's literally my biggest barrier. I feel like I have to get permission or totally understanding before I even attempt something. Dude, no, you know what? There's a word for it. It's called kinesthetic learning. And it's basically learning based off failing at something.
Exactly.
So, and for example, like working out at the gym is nothing different to it. It's also kinesthetic learning, but for your muscles. So, like you move a weight to that point that you're not able of like using it, like moving it anymore, and your muscle like gets exhausted. And at that point, your muscle needs to grow to overcome that weight the next time. And that's basically the same thing. So just like straight up fail at everything, be shitty, give yourself a budget of like failing and errors and be shitty. And and then just like do it and then do it again. And for example, when you then find your issue, you have, for example, with some issues you can live and say, oh, that's terrible, but I mean, overall it's not that bad. But that one particular thing, I wish I could, for example, in my case, I wish I could like be better at 3D modeling feet, for example.
Yeah.
And it's not bothering me, but when I like reach a point of like, I don't know, I do a commercial for like a shoe or something,
right,
I need to figure it out. So then
it's time to lock in, right?
Exactly. I have to log in and cook Yo,
Exactly, exactly. It's time.
yeah, but I mean, currently I don't care about feet, so yeah. Sorry for talking about so much about feet. So
No, it's just one of those snags. Like
yeah,
every artist has one of those things. It just, like you said, shoes too. Like I, every time it comes to shoes, I just kind of just freeball it and just I'm trying to figure out what to do and how to make
yeah.
this look cool. But
Oh man,
other
and
people, I see their models and I'm like, oh, those are cool shoes. I can probably never do that, but I mean, I'm sure if I, like you said, just lock in and cook and just actually focus on doing it, I could probably make something cool.
exactly, and yeah, dude, fail, just fail. It's
Fail, yeah.
fail for fun.
You're not gonna like your early stuff. Like nobody
No,
does.
no,
Every, the farther you get away from your first works, the better
yeah.
it's gonna get.
I
That's kind of it's funny that they say, Meta said terrified of failure. I feel like that's a thing that stops my wife from having like a lot of hobbies or playing more games. Because she's even said like a couple times, like she just doesn't like if she's not great at it, the first time she doesn't want to do it, which is funny, but it's like it's a real thought process. It's like
yeah.
I kind of want to. I don't want to be. I don't want to go through the stress of like getting better or somebody critiquing me or saying that this is wrong and that's right. And um,
Yeah.
it's just it's hard to get through. But I guess people like me and you were just like, yeah, we don't care. We'll just I know I'm gonna be better eventually, so I'll just work towards that.
Yeah, I guess we are like a good proof for that because like I don't know, check out like Lee's Instagram page or like his TikTok and my YouTube channel, for example, and just scroll like all the way
All the way
down
down.
and
Yeah,
compare it with like the current stuff, and like you see like
exactly.
the difference. So yeah, and I guess like worldwide, like we as people and like the society and stuff, there's like so much pressure of like
Hmm.
succeeding, achieving stuff, and I guess like when you it sounds so corny, but when you like try to make the way, the goal, the path, the goal,
Hmm.
you are like always winning because like I think a lot of people, yeah, don't put like pressure on you. Just like
No,
just be bad at it. Just do it. You want to be like an animator, be a bad animator. I mean,
exactly.
I mean, if like your goal is to be a bad animator, you can totally like pull that off. And
Exactly, yeah.
so like just be terrible at it. And
Because like I mean, even I'm sure there's a lot of 2D artists out there that might see our stuff and they're like, oh my gosh,
yeah,
I could never do that. 2D art does so well on like especially if it's silly and it's like low quality and like every now and then they like make something look really like high res and like detailed. Like that stuff does so well. But it's like simple, it's basic.
yeah, yeah.
So it's like, whatever appeases our little monkey brains and makes us laugh, that's
Dude,
always gonna, do well.
man, oh man, perfect example. So I mean, like, look at Skibbity Toilet.
Exactly, yeah.
How far did that dude like come like with his career? He made a career out of it with like Skibbity Toilet. So like, and you see actually like he intended to be bad, and
Exactly.
he embraced it, Skibbity Toilet. Yeah. Um, I have to like throw in a bit of like Gen Z, Gen Alpha lingo, so I don't want
Right, we got to
to.
keep everybody
Yeah, we need to.
stimulated and
Yeah, exactly. For all the. Yeah. Anyway, but I mean, when you intend, yeah, totally, manner. Like, put in your bio of your Instagram page, I suck at what I do and I love it,
exactly.
and just go for it. Like, make
And
the
go
most.
for it.
Yeah, go for it. Make the most terrible looking stuff ever, and yeah, and you will be the best. You could be the best when you are trying to be the worst person in something. You will be the best at it. I don't know it. I just try to be like motivational or something.
No,
Yeah,
I feel like that's the way because like
yeah,
I for reals just started off just going like, hey, if somebody likes this stuff, they like it. If they don't, they don't. But I'm learning for myself, and I just kind of want to share and see what what people think. And I don't know about you, but like it seems like I found like the right side of the internet. Like
Yeah,
there are
true.
very few trolls that I get on my stuff. Like and when people are trolling, like it's very obvious because like this is kind of a hard subject to BS about.
Yeah.
Like because you actually have to know what I'm doing in order to critique it. So like if somebody's just like it's bad or they say something racist or they say something crazy, like I know they're just trolling, they're just trying to get a reaction instead of actually knowing what's going on. So
Yeah, true. And yeah,
so yeah, nobody's actually really pressed about this stuff. It's if anything, it's mostly like an internet troll, which are always going to be around. So
yeah, and I guess like I mean there will be always like people like that, but overall I think like or I feel like we have a lot of like positivity in our community,
absolutely.
and I guess like it's because it's due to the fact that we are all like Sigma males and we own everything and yeah like we're the oh man I'm sorry like because like Shay put in a chat that like Skibidi Toilet was mentioned and she wouldn't like stop talking about Skibidi Toilet and I anyway it's like I really like I don't know about you but you and your wife and like how do you feel about all that like Gen Alpha lingo like Riz, Sigma, Skibidi,
I try to keep
Ohio,
up with it
whatever.
because
It's so
I'm
confusing.
I mean I'm a frequent user of TikTok, so I mean in addition to like everything else that I'm seeing, like I see all the I try to keep up just to like I don't want to be that person that's like, oh, I have no idea what these things mean. Everybody's getting crazy. I mean, which it is like it is like but that's always it's always been that case where like the later generations just do something completely different and we're looking at them like what are we doing? But I at least like to know what's going on, so I try to keep up. Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife not so much, but
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, dude, it's so weird. I'm trying to keep up and I'm googling sometimes what's a Giat and I'm sitting in my I don't know in my armchair like in my library and then I'm like
Mm.
looking up Giat what's that and what the Sigma what's that and why are those young people saying stuff like that no I'm not like that eloquent but yeah anyway and yeah Shay, question for both of you. Who are some of your biggest inspirations in terms of creators? I would say Jesus Christ.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so he's the goat. Uh no, but I mean for I don't know. Okay, mine is a bit
Uh,
unusual, I think.
I actually have. Let me go find it. I'm
Wait,
pretty sure that's on my
let me
Instagram as well. So I have a whole list. I mean, I was talking about Nam Mac earlier. I feel like that's the main person whose art I saw, and I was like, yeah, I absolutely want to do this. But yeah, in my on my like Blender files and projects 2023 resources, I have like a whole list of like
what?
inspirational people. Um, because I did another interview where somebody was like, "Hey, yeah, give me a list of people to like shout out." I was like, "Cool, give me 1 second," and I like just made a whole list of everybody that whose art I like really love. And this was like kind of early, so like there's a lot of people that just aren't on here yet, but yeah, a lot of people whose art I saw before I started making art, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this stuff is cool."
Um wait, let me
And these
look.
are all there.
Okay, I mean like mine are like a bit I don't know, maybe basic. So I mean first of all it was like the Haunted PS1 demo disc
Hmm.
because like just like the pure concept it's not a creator in itself but I mean like just that and I think it was like it's difficult. I think like definitely Acorn Bringer from the last interview
Yeah.
was a huge influence for me, and I think you can see it especially in my earlier
Yeah,
like stuff.
absolutely. I
He
played
I
that
think
demo of his game. Oh my gosh.
yeah,
It
it's
was so atmospheric, so cool.
yeah,
So I can't wait to see the final result.
yeah. And okay, so this is like a bit this is a bit weird, but like my like most favorite content creator ever is Craftsman. Let me just show you the
Yeah, pull him up. I don't think I've heard of that person.
Craftsman.
Mhm.
Craftsman is a hand puppet and he crafts stuff. So like vinyl toys, woodwork, toy
Oh,
modification, and like editing sound. And yeah, he's like he's the who is he called, the nice neighborhood guy. What's his name?
Mr. Rogers?
Yeah, exactly. He's like if Mr. Rogers was from the Mississippi and a hand puppet. So yeah, it's him, and he's my top one like content creator, even though it's not
Yeah.
related at all to like 3D
What you
modeling.
made, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I really
He
like
just made you get up and want to make stuff and
exactly
want to share
exactly,
it.
and he's so inspiring because he's always so positive, and and yeah, and he also like yeah, I don't know, he reflects a lot of like influences in his videos, and why does he do something and why does he want to achieve something with his projects. And yeah, he's like I don't know, like in the second he uploads something, I'm like in the comments,
Yeah.
and like I'm there because like yeah, he's so positive. And yeah, but Acorn Bringer was like within our niche the biggest influence for me. Like yeah,
Hmm.
so it was like kind of a like big achievement for me to actually like get to know him and talk to him, because
Yeah.
I didn't expect him to be so like down to earth. And
Yeah,
for
he was a really chill guy.
yeah, true, true. And I mean, same for you, because like it's like out of nowhere you like blasted my feed with your content, and it was like, what the fuck is going on? And how
You were
fast?
surprised that I responded. I thought that was funny because, I mean, I guess I don't know if you've asked like other accounts like for to come on and talk. I guess they just haven't answered you yet or something like that.
No, 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 no. It was literally like I tried to I wait a minute. It was like Acorn Bringer and
Hmm.
you.
Oh, okay.
So literally like I there was nobody else. I think I you know, sometimes there's like a I don't know, I'm in a Discord or something like that, and we're like casually talking about something. But I mean, like really trying to get in contact with, it was you and Acorn Bringer. So like
Hmm.
I was surprised I got like a feedback from you and from him. So because it's like you know, it's funny because like you see those numbers and those like followers and subscriber, and then
Mm.
you're like, oh, this person is way too famous for me, they will like never check my
No, like
email.
anybody that's DM me on Instagram, like they know if it's a DM that's like worth answering, I probably will answer it. But I mean that's just me in general. Like I don't like even my email.
Yeah,
Like I like keeping it, as close to zero as possible. I just don't like notifications like showing that I need to answer. So like I always stay up to date on like answering my DMs and stuff like that. So for sure. I know a lot of other artists that I've talked to, they don't really. They barely even read their comments on their posts. So, which I guess I kind of get on depending on like what people have said to you before,
yeah, true.
or if depending on your audience. So I guess I can kind of get that sometimes. But for me, I'm like, yeah, I've had a pretty good experience on the internet. I'll hear everybody out, and at least everything that comes through my inbox, I at least read it. So if I
Yeah,
unfortunately, if I haven't answered you on something, it's probably a commission I didn't want to do, or a question I didn't want to answer, or something like that. But I at least read all of them.
yeah. So same for me, I read literally like all the emails and whatever, but my problem is like because like I do tutorials,
Hmm.
like a lot of people are like criticizing a tutorial and they're like, dude, you didn't explain that part. And
Well, see, that doesn't matter at all, because it's
and
like,
and I'm like,
instead of,
what the hell? So why do
right,
you
it's
text me just to like criticize something?
exactly.
And
And like, instead
yeah,
of coming to you, like, go make your own and I'll watch that, I'll
yeah,
learn from you. But here you are, just just criticizing.
yeah.
What good is that doing it to anybody?
And the thing is, like especially in the start with all the tutorials and stuff, like I got a lot of like requests for like I have this specific issue with this project and for my OC character or whatever.
Hmm.
Please help me. And I'm like, that's a bit like that's a bit much to ask, to be honest. So
Hmm.
sometimes I'm like trying to help, but when I see okay, so literally the I need to like work myself into your project to help you. I'm not texting back because like I'm like I can't help you. I have things to do. I can't like help you to that scale that you like need my help
Yeah.
currently. And I'm like I don't want to be disrespectful, but I don't have time for this right now.
No, no.
But yeah, but I mean, when I like see potential in like an artist or a game project, or I'm like
Absolutely.
personally like I'm invested. I'm like trying to be there for them, and I don't like then I don't know, I don't charge money for it or something like that.
No.
And I
Like,
mean,
there's plenty of
maybe I tell them maybe check out my Patreon, please, and
yeah.
because like yeah, I don't want to put a number on my help, but I mean at least maybe check out my Patreon. Yeah.
Like, I love helping out like other artists. There's even a couple of like 2D artists that I've just had, long Discord chats with, because they kind of want to start getting into 3D.
Oh, nice.
And like, when it's another artist or somebody that's like, been doing this stuff for a while, it's so much easier to talk to them about, like, we don't have to go over the computer basics or the basics of, like, any given program. Like, they kind of get how much dedication and time goes into it. So like, I can, any artist could hit me up and just be like, hey, want to hop on and show me what I'm doing wrong or something like that. I've done that so many times. But when it's like somebody brand new and they're like, hey, like, teach me everything you know, I don't think that's gonna work out for either of us.
Yeah, yeah, true. And for example, I mean like Shay, I guess Shay, you're still in the chat. For example, like sometimes I see creators and I'm like, what the fuck? How can like this person not have like more
Oh yeah,
audience or
so many
like,
people like that.
and I guess like just like reposting
Mhm.
something of them is not enough. And I'm like, this person has so much like potential. They need to like get the love that they deserve with their stuff.
Yeah.
So like they continue making stuff because like it's in my personal interest to see more art from them. And so I really try to like push it then. So and
Yeah.
like with Resec and like all of like people you may already noticed in the Discord or on this channel.
Mhm.
I'm like, yo, check. We all should like check out each other's like art and like support each other, comment and repost, and just be like. And I guess like I think sometimes when you think something nice of it, you
Mhm.
you don't like comment on it. It's like, oh, that's nice, and then you like scroll
Yeah.
to the next one, and I really try to like be, especially when I
Engage.
see exactly when I see small creators, I'm like, I'm typing in the chat of their like YouTube video or like their Instagram post, and like I'm blasting it all out. And if it's just like emojis, I just need to
So
send out
be it, right?
positivity because like make more stuff, please. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. So, Screwball Lich, I got to ask, when you make a game or an animation project, do you write the idea down or do you just make the models and then make up whatever happens? So that's a good question about your production cycle, basically. So,
Oh yeah.
how do you come up with your stuff?
For me personally, it's it's unfortunately a method and a workflow that's kind of hard to replicate, but it is kind of just off of the dome for most of the time. Um, so like if we want to stay in this one, in this Spirit Tracks animation, I think the the title screen for Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks just like randomly came up on my YouTube recommended. I guess YouTube was just like they just randomly wanted to hand me some nostalgia. And it was, it was just the title screen. It was just like the music and the initial like, title screen cutscene and intro. And I was like, oh man, I remember this. I could like, I could like make something to it and like think of an idea and stuff done like that. So I kind of just like I feel like most of my workflow is like hearing something and like thinking in my head, oh, what can I do at like certain times in the song, and what can I have happen and what can I realistically create in this scene. So if you go and watch this animation that I made is on YouTube and it's on all of my other social media platforms. um you can like go back and see kind of how the camera switches to the beat. So like when it's like in a different section of the song, I'll switch cameras, and things like that. And naturally, like in the song for the Legends of the Spirit Tracks intro, like the train engine running kind of just goes to the beat, and so that helps out as well with like keeping track and keeping pace with the timing and whatnot. And it just makes it sound even better because it's like it never gets off of beat. It's just like that steady train. It just sounds really nice. And so I feel like once I have a song and once I have an idea, I just take the song or take the music, and I'll bring it in, in the sound. Oh, well, it's called the video sequencer in Blender. But I'll bring that sound in Blender and just have it like play through while I'm animating, so I can like time everything right. You see, I've got like camera changes on the beat and even like markers that I don't name accurately. It's just like the name of the frame. Markers where something's supposed to happen. So like for this one, in this case, this is like where I'm coming out of the tunnel, that initial tunnel. So I'm like, oh, I should probably raise the brightness and stuff there and then bring it back down. Stuff like that. But yeah, most of the time, like I don't like write anything down. I don't storyboard. I kind of just make everything that I need, and I've got the train attached to the track. I've got my person on the train. Everything's there, and it's moving along the tracks. It's I've got what I need. I feel like most of the animation is like camera movement and like charm. And so like I've got, all of these, like every single one of these little boxes here, like I'll highlight them all. These are all cameras. Even this little one here, I've got that shrink down. There's probably more somewhere else. But like this is just like 5 cameras here. So like I feel like getting dynamic angles is pretty important, and that makes a good presentation.
Yeah, that's really
Um,
something like I think unique about your content and stuff. You really like figured out super dynamic, like almost to remind me of like dynamic camera angles from animes, for example.
yeah,
And
and
it's super like it brings so much to the scene because like just having a straight camera on the train would be so boring. But
yeah,
with your camera like direction and so on, it's like yeah, it adds so much.
and the way I feel like ways to dial that in is I mean, like you said, it reminds you of anime. So like if you want styles, if you want angles that, that look like X media, like go
Yeah,
watch that media, go,
yeah.
go study that media.
It adds
Um,
more life to your stuff. Yeah,
Absolutely,
so true,
absolutely.
man.
For me, when I'm picking angles, I kind of just like rotate the camera until I see something that I like. Or most of the time, it's like, like in this instance, like everything that I've worked on in the scene or everything that I want to show, like it's in the scene right here. And I've got Death Mountain, quote unquote, in the background. I've got the castle, I've got the Spirit Tower, and then it pans around, to the train, and we can see the mountains on the other side. So like, just get everything that you want in the shot, and try out dynamic angles and try it doesn't have to be straight here. Oh, I accidentally blipped out. Like you see, it's ever so slightly on an angle, and if you want like a different like twisted feel, you can twist the camera even more and get a different angle on that, or just get dynamic as you feel, and what gets what looks cool and what gets your focus in the shot.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of like storyboarding and stuff, I don't really storyboard. If anything, I'll like do it in my head. Like I said, I might listen to a song like a bunch of times, like over and over again, and just as I'm listening to it, I'll just like think of what to do and then just hop in Blender and start blending. Um, I don't really write anything down. I don't really do any of that. It's just
It's super interesting because like I think for me it's like different because you said you mentioned before that you like get a lot of inspirations by music and stuff and beats
mhm.
and like announces inside the track of the song and such. And
And
for me it's always like more the visual aspect. I get inspired
yeah,
by visual stuff like I saw in anime movies or like I read in a book or I saw in a certain art piece. And like beats and music is like, I mean it also like gives me inspiration, but it only like adds up to my visual inspirations. But your
right.
aspect is super unique because like with the beat and with the song you can already like line out
Dial in
exactly.
dial
uh,
in the feel and the vibe. Yeah.
exactly oh, that's interesting.
So most of the time, like I'm picking the song first
Yeah,
before I make anything. And I feel like it's not like, there's one right way to do it because
yeah,
obviously your
true.
stuff looks great as well and you're doing it the other way. But for mine, I just, I feel like I've got to get the vibe down right before I actually start doing anything. And
Yeah.
like
Oh
everything
man.
else just comes from the song. And so as you're listening to it, you can kind of, dial in what you want and get the right vibes. And
Yeah.
there's even a lot of times where I'll see somebody's like turnaround of their model, or like they've made an animation but they haven't added any sound yet. Like I can hear it in my head, like as I'm like watching what they're doing, even though there's no sound, because that's just the way my brain works. Like if I'm seeing something, I'm hearing it. So it's kind of like I guess I'm thinking in sound. I'm as I'm
Mhm.
seeing the animation, or like if I'm hearing sound in my head, I'm seeing I'm also seeing animation. So that's just kind of how my
That's
brain works.
so interesting, man. I that okay, man. That makes so much sense. You know, that's it makes sense. But I work totally different because like I'm
Yeah.
all about visuals and stuff. And for example, like you said, you are like just using your inspirations from like the song itself and like jump into it. And I, for example, I'm super like analytical about my stuff because sometimes I see, let's say, I see a painting that's like
Hmm.
going super hard for some reason, and exactly then I'm starting to ask myself questions. Why do I think it's epic? Why do I like it? What's so appealing about it? And then I'm
Hmm.
asking those questions, and then I'm like deconstructing the the feeling of hyping it up right now. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So like
Yeah.
why do I feel lonely when I look at this and so on? And I guess like and yeah, and sometimes I write down questions about projects or like visual art pieces, and then I'm like
Hmm.
just like why does it feel boring and how can I change it? And then I'm like trying to figure out that question and so on. So like so I work with like this I quiz myself on like my project sometimes, and like
Oh,
even
that's
here
good.
for example for the interview I didn't like prep anything for like talking to you, of course,
Hmm.
but I wrote down like keywords with question marks like afterwards. Like Instagram, how does he do question mark.
Yeah.
So like I think sometimes for me it's asking the right questions. Why is
Yeah.
this anime going hard and epic? Why? And then you can like dissect it. And yeah, but
Absolutely.
the
Absolutely.
music aspect makes totally sense for me right now. I mean, I don't work that way, but it's a medium completely based off audio stimulation. So
Yeah,
there is a lack of visuals. So your head creates the visuals. Like
exactly,
yeah, so
exactly.
it makes totally sense that like your brain is free to like create like a scene or like an animation for it, because like you have space for it right now while
Mhm.
listening to the song. Yeah.
And
Uh
there's a lot of people that just don't really think like that. Like I've even talked to people. They're like, people that kind of talk to themselves out loud. Like some people just don't have an inside voice in their head, and that's not wrong or it's not incorrect. It's just how their brain operates. But for me, I can kind of talk to myself inside my head. I can kind of think about realistic scenes in my head and how that would look, and
wait
what the
wait
what the
wait
angle
wait
would look like.
wait what wait you have a like a inner dialogue with yourself? You hear your own voice?
Yeah, like you,
What?
I don't know, like talking to yourself out loud, but except you're not using
Yeah,
your mouth, you know?
it's in your okay wait okay no I don't have that. I see like three-dimensional things in my head, you know.
Yeah,
So like
I guess I have both then.
dude, yeah, brains. Brains, yo. Brains. Sorry, I'm getting like wait. Oh, the chat. Okay, sorry guys for like blah, 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 blah. Yeah, mana, brains, yo. So yeah.
Neon Shambles, if we asked if we have any upcoming projects.
Oh, that's a good question. Do you have any upcoming projects?
For me, it's just, the random commissions that I might be doing every now and then. I talked about working with a company, but I can't say right now, so that might be
Okay.
coming up soon. In terms of like projects like my shorts, uh, I always have things upcoming, but
Yeah.
like again, they're like shorts that I make in maybe like a couple days, maybe a couple hours. So like most of those are just like off the cuff, like hey, I want to do this right now. So it's kind of hard to like plan and schedule those. So I'm just always making stuff. So I guess you can expect at least one animation from me throughout any given week.
Oh man.
But what about you?
For me, it's basically like the thing is like because like I see how should I put it? Originally, I started with Blender because I was interested in doing like horror short
Mhm.
animations, like horror short movies. I don't know, and I never like really went for it. And
Mhm.
then at some point, like there was this rise of analog horror, and I was like, "What the fuck? That could have been me." and and yeah, and I was still like devouring the fact that I never really like jumped into like short animations, and I only
Mm.
like do this more like educational stuff. I guess like overall my a bit sometimes my issue is a bit that like I have the persona of a teacher. I took on the role of a teacher
Mm.
on this YouTube channel, and I don't even get you know like I want to be an artist, but I don't get like that. People don't see me as an artist. I'm more like the teacher than an artist, and
Mhm.
that's sometimes a bit hurtful because like I would
Yeah, because
love
I
to
see you
like
as kind of both.
thank you, thank you. But I would love to like show off a bit and like show what I can or figure out myself what I'm capable of with like
Yeah.
animation and stuff. Because like I love storytelling, but I never or barely do storytelling stuff. So I guess like that's something I want to do. And
Yeah.
yeah, but I think I
Yeah,
will use a second YouTube channel for that.
yeah. I want to get into like the non-silly stuff as well at some point.
Okay, what
I
direction?
I honestly don't know when though. I guess what the in recent days I've been thinking like instead of like a silly little dance video or something where me and my wife are gabbing or whatever.
Yeah.
I was thinking like there's a couple times where I've like in the middle of the night there's this new gas station by our house or petrol station depending on where you live. um, where it's kind of like big and they've got like a lot of pumps and they got like a lot of like snacks and stuff,
Yeah.
and they're open 24 hours. And there's sometimes where I just, in the middle of the night, I'll like get in my car and go and get a snack or something like that. And I've kind of wanted to like animate that where I'm just like, it's just like a night drive. And it's, kind of atmospheric. It's got a lot of different shots of, the car driving and, me turning on my
Oh,
music in the car and,
I see. I see.
um, and
Uh,
it's not that far from my house, so I mean I'll still have to like make a whole environment in between a house and this gas station, but I feel like that'd be like a different direction than what I usually do.
yeah.
And it kind of like it can kind of show off what I do. And it'd be kind of very vibey and atmospheric. Maybe somebody else can relate. Maybe they can relate to going someplace in the middle of the night just for a quick snack. But I feel like that's even that. It's not really telling a story or anything. But even that is like so much so different than what I do now, where it's just like silly stuff. So yeah, I feel like just off the top of my head, that's definitely something, something like that I want to get into making. Maybe not, obviously for the rest of my art career, but just every now and then, just do something that's kind of like that, just chill and vibey, and can actually show off what I can do instead of, like the silly stuff, just the things that get likes and the things that that people can latch on to.
Oh man, I know what you mean. Because like I guess sometimes like pursuing one direction leads to wanting or needing like the other one too. Like the
Yeah,
you need a bit of contrast to get flavor, you know?
yeah, yeah,
Like
absolutely.
salted caramel or something caramel like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know
There you
what you mean.
go.
Because like currently you are literally riding the nostalgia train and everything is like silly and colorful and happy.
Right, right, right.
So like having like this more thoughtful, melancholic moments,
Hmm.
um, like you said, like this very like cinematic and like
Hmm.
melancholic feeling that you're trying to communicate, uh, is I mean it makes sense. I think, in my opinion, that you like also want to show what you're like capable of in like the other direction, and
Yeah.
again,
Yeah,
yeah,
and just in case somebody,
sure,
I don't know, for like future commissions, if somebody's like, oh, all this guy makes is like, silly, gamey stuff, and
yeah, yeah.
which I'm okay with being associated with because that is what I like to do. That's what I started out doing, and that's probably what I'm going to do for, for as long as I can. But I do want to kind of get, a little more dynamic and show, maybe I can make these big scenes and make something that's worth, or something like that, that's like you said, melancholic and atmospheric and cinematic,
Yeah,
and but still in my art style, still in that in the low poly models and textures and stuff. So
I would love to see that.
yeah, we'll
I'm
see if I
Yeah,
ever get to making that and
yeah.
if that ever pans out. But in terms of like bigger animations and maybe like ideas for video games and shows and stuff, I think about that a lot, but very rarely do I think about it enough to like actually want to do it, and to spend the time on it, because there's like even in the window of time that I'm in now, like I said earlier, like I make a lot of shorter stuff, especially in 2024, because I have less time to make stuff. So like I'll spend as much time as I have to make something at least like once a week, and then throw it out there, and I'm happy with it. But even beyond that, like if I wanted to take like a week or two to work on something, I'm probably gonna like keep it just to that because I still want to keep up with like consistency in posting. So there's just some things that, yeah, I have an idea for, but I just can't work on right now because I do want to take that time to like actually, make content that I can put out more often. Which is, I feel like the main thing that's like keeping me from making a game. Number one, because I just haven't thought about, a game worth selling hard enough yet.
Yeah.
And then also, just the time. Like it takes a lot of time to actually make something
Yeah.
that people are gonna like. So
That leans into the question we just like received. By the way, Shay, I mean, I would be down for like cooking a horror thing together. Why not? And
can
yeah,
I join? I want to make something horror
yeah,
like.
maybe we could all like collab on something. Like let's
If you
create.
guys don't, if you
Let,
guys don't mind too many cooks in the kitchen.
yeah, because like for example, like catastrophe crow. What was it called? Or like banned rounds, and like there are so many like horror period pieces within our niche, and yeah,
Hmm.
and yeah, Neon Shambles. How long does it take you guys to finish a project animation? Curious to know. Yeah, so like for example, like I guess we both would be interested in making a game, but the thing is like, especially when you work on it alone, like a game project is like the most time consuming thing you can do.
Yeah,
Like even like making a movie takes less time than making a game, in my opinion, as a like
absolutely.
as
Yeah,
a solo artist. And like animations are like, I mean, from my perspective, like animations can take from like 1 day to like, it's super fluent. It depends on the shots, it depends on the elements,
exactly. Yeah,
but I mean you could do something in 1 day. So I mean,
yeah.
yeah, and that's cool about like animation. You could like really like pump out stuff and still have like time off with your loved ones, and like I don't know, because like in the end,
Like,
yeah, we for you and for me, because like we have basically 3 different lives. We are creating like content and art, then
exactly.
we're having our partners, um
Hmm.
and then we have to go to work too. So like, yeah, having the private time for like spending time with your wife or like my girlfriend, and like doing art and so on, like having and dedicating time to like a game project from like months in a row, and like without stop, and only having this one project on your plane, that can be a bit like, toxic, because like you are under
Yeah,
pressure, and in the end it really needs to like pay off and maybe sell well or get well proceed, and that can be very like frustrating, I think. But like
and that's
animation
why.
is like, yeah. Oh, sorry.
No, no, no. You're fine. You can go ahead.
um yeah, so I mean, I guess like it depends. So for me, like even with the
Mm,
tutorials, if I would like just do what you do and like what Shay does with the animations,
mm.
I would be able to do more stuff than I'm actually currently doing, because like tutorials take so much time. I have
They
to
do.
I have to like fact check stuff. I have to re-record
It
certain things. I have to try things myself. I have
exactly. You have to
to,
make sure it's
yeah,
replicatable, and maybe for like a beginner or intermediate learner.
exactly. And then you have to like be fast enough that the flow of the tutorial is like not boring. So
Exactly, exactly.
yeah, and
It,
that,
it's very hard, and at the same time, like I mean, I feel like you're doing it pretty well, and it's paying
thank
off
you.
pretty well. But I feel like every tutorial that I've done, trying to make it short form or even long form, like on my YouTube channel, I just don't get a lot of engagement on those. I know there's somebody out there that's like, so thankful that I've made it. But I feel like they just don't pay off as much as my other stuff. I'm sure if I was more consistent about it, I could probably, do pretty well, and get pretty good at making those. But doing it in between like my actual animations, it just really discourages me because I'm like, I work so hard on this, and there's, it's not getting a whole lot. But at the end of the day, like it doesn't matter. You're helping somebody, especially if it's a subject that's not talked about a whole lot. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this is, yeah. I can like totally agree, because like sounds dumb, because to a certain degree it's like very, I like helping people, but sometimes I would rather like do like animations like you do, and just like
Yeah.
create stuff and make art, and not like over explain art. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes I just want to do things and not like explain things. And
Yeah.
and I think also like in the end, it's like tutorials are not like paying off that well. Also
Mhm.
from like a portfolio side,
True. Yeah.
because like when I try to get like in contact, I mean, no, not a single like company like ever reached out to me or something like that. I always was the one who like was trying to reach out to someone,
Yeah.
and it was always the same project. It's I mean situation. It was always like, could you show us more presentable portfolio work or something like that? And I'm like, I have none. I have my YouTube channel and my
Yeah.
tutorials, and that's a bit
Because you're
sad.
capable of doing that stuff, but it's
Exactly.
like you just haven't taken the time to do it.
Exactly. So, and that's why I'm like hyped about like doing things that you do.
Yeah.
And yeah, so, and like even like after this stream today, I'm like so hyped about like doing animations actually and doing something. So like, yeah, there's a lot of
Okay,
like,
so about your the game jam that you're working on, is that like one of those month-long ones or
in the start it was just like a 1 week
uh
thing, and then it kind of took off uh by the people of the Discord, and we
mm,
added another week, and now it started to look way better than before, and it's like more professional looking, like an
mm,
actual like game demo that you could like pitch to a studio.
yeah.
And so like, yeah, but I mean, I have to be honest, I really believe in the project. I like the game, but it basically splits my current situation again, you know, because
Yeah.
now I'm not just like a content creator and an artist, but also like a game developer. And now I'm like, you know, it's a bit like overwhelming, like working on so many things at once. And like, yeah,
Yeah.
because like I get sometimes critique from my girlfriend that I
Mm,
don't like take enough time for her to like go out,
mm,
go see a movie or whatever. And I totally get that, because like, yeah, so I need to find the balance, and I need to
yeah, absolutely.
distance myself sometimes, because sometimes it's like a bit too much. And yeah, but yo, mana, be fluid like water, Stark. Yeah. Best quote ever, man. And yeah, um we value those tutorials for real. Thank you, man. Thank you, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
i
thank you.
i really like enjoy helping, but sometimes
Yeah.
I want to do stuff too. So and yeah, so I get it, because like, yeah, but you know, sometimes it's a bit no, not helpful, it's like it's a bit hurtful to hear like feedback from like you know, those companies and stuff,
Yeah,
especially
for
when
sure,
I
for sure.
reach out. Yeah, and then I would like love to like smack my portfolio on the table, but yeah, basically my portfolio is my social media stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, yeah, the hardest part about making a game is finishing it. Yes.
Oh
So
man,
yeah, I guess like
I can't imagine.
having a solid like team. I think like being a solo dev is like, you have to dedicate, like Acom Bringer from the last interview, you really have
Mhm.
to dedicate all you got and put everything in it.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I mean, for animations you have a bit like more room, more time to like experiment and to try things. So yeah. Okay, guys, I think we will end the stream in a moment, and because like my cat is screaming because she's looking at me very angry, and she's demanding food. So I need to wrap things up.
Time to eat, yeah.
Yo, um,
Sailing next.
who is your next interview gonna be besides your cat?
Mm.
My cat is currently in the room, so I have to. It's my cat. Yeah. No. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. So Adam, just very quickly, Adam, I started to develop a horror game with my friend and just stumbled upon your videos and found them interesting. Thanks. Oh, glad I could help, man. And I mean,
Yeah.
if you want, you can drop like your itch.io link or when you have one, like here or in the Discord. I would love to see your project, man. So, and that's a beautiful diamond. Nice.
Oh yeah, this is my default Blender file.
Oh really? Oh nice. That's cool. I need to change my default project too, man.
I just
Uh
tried to be different with instead of a cube. It's
yeah.
and this is like a diamond you can get in with the extra objects add-on that's
Oh
like already in
man,
Blender. I
that
just colored it green.
like the extra object plugin is goat. It's goated. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, that looks nice. Okay, hey. Okay, let's end the stream with this last question by Rello. Quick question: when texturing, do you guys try to keep your UVs square or just positioning them how they unwrap? Okay, let's answer
Uh,
this one question.
yeah, it kind of just depends on the object. I feel like you can't really base it just off of like um one type of like square, like circle or anything like that. Like it depends on the object and how you're trying to make the UVs look and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's kind of a bummy question. It's or
Yeah.
not a question, not a bummy question, a bummy answer. It's kind of like a generalized, but at the same time, there's a lot of things you can do and a lot of things you can texture and make. So it's not there's not I feel like there's not one solution for it. You kind of just gotta
Yeah.
depending on what you need and what you want it to look like. It can be different shapes and stuff.
I personally think that like the more complex and the more organic a mesh or a character gets, the more it's becoming like difficult to keep the pixelation and the UV grids like square and perfect. So you need to have some kind of like blocky or straight geometry to like lay out your UVs square, because like the base mesh is basically square. And but it depends. So like it's a back and forth between 3D modeling and texturing. But that's actually like a super nice transition, because like Razak is currently working on a beginner friendly tutorial about pixel art based a pixel art based pumpgun. And the thing is, he is covering that stuff for beginners. He's getting into the nitty gritty with that tutorial for beginner. And after that tutorial, people will forget about the donut tutorial, because like why would you like want a tutorial about a beginner tutorial about the donut when you can have a cyberpunk pump gun? So yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, Rollo, Shay, and Mana, yo, thank you for you guys in particular for being so active in the chat. It was really nice talking to you guys, man. And yeah, so I don't know who's next up, but yeah, so check out it's Lit Lee's Instagram. And yeah, so I mean, please just like comment his animations, like his stuff immediately if you haven't like head to Instagram and check out his account. And I guess see you guys in the next one.
Yeah, see you guys around.
So, bye.
Bye, friends.